Oh yeah, Black Sun in the hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. So yeah, this Wrestling Wednesdays, man. So we're gonna give down. Oh, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time tonight on Wrestling Wednesdays. Y'all know how we do, man.
It's going down.
Got my money up, turn that S to a dollar sign. Chicks and don't be a promoter like Blackson.
Arena Uncensored.
Like I said, I the first time I saw Ron Killings was in NWA Wild Side, and that was way back. That was even before K quit. So I always knew he was great athletic. Like as far as his athleticism and everything, and he developed the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that character has been consistent throughout. You know what I mean? Whether it was K Quick, whether it was his NWA TNA days with 3 Live Crew and all of that, up to when he won the NWA Championship to his WWE run. He's been great. He should have had again I think I heard Trevor say, yeah, he should have had a run with the title, even if it was transitional. You know what I mean? I think he deserved it, but I don't think he gonna look back at that in aspect and like care, because he had a great career.
Wasted potential, man. Like wasted talent, man. Not on his end, but just like Vince McMahon did him bad, man. Like
Wrestling needs to grow up, and it needs to do more smart things and make it more believable, because that makes it tough to watch.
But if Vince wanted your ass to be a silverback gorilla, that's what your ass was gonna be. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that goes back to what we were talking about on the last Black show. A lot of these wrestlers that's in these promotions, especially the bigger promotions,
Right.
just coon the hell out.
So who would
subject themselves?
Who would be on that list of coon wrestlers? Wrestlers that you felt were detrimental in portraying a negative stereotype to the black community. Who are those wrestlers that are like counterproductive?
I'm not in any type of position to call you a coon outright based off of what I see. You know what I mean? But we can see coonish behavior, like you just said. Tony Atlas would be one of them. You know what I mean? I know definitely Rocky King is another.
that was the other one I was thinking about. Hell,
you know what I mean?
I would even say Ron the Truth Killings, man, because he never. I don't think he ever put his foot down to say, "Hey, I'm better than this." Like,
well, he was better than that in TNA because he was the NWA world champion. He was treated more seriously in TNA. It's WWE was with a coon crap.
Say where it matters. Like, I mean, you see, you the reason why I'm like this.
So that means you said where it matters. So that means you just say fuck all to what he did in TNA.
You really want me to say it?
Man, Trevor reacting like if it doesn't happen in WWE, which is like a small drop of wrestling history, that it doesn't matter.
The WWE is a small drop of wrestling history.
I can't let
the NWA. The NWA has a lineage that goes back to 1905.
So you're saying this NWA right now that has Tyrus as their champion is world? No. Let's just call it what it is, because you want every time I say something, you want 1905. Come on, man.
So it's of no significance with him being the first black NWA champion? No significance at all?
It's, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, he beat Ken Shamrock. I mean,
But Ken Shamrock mattered when he was in WWE, though.
It was a bigger platform.
Trevor, you were just like, you're just at that table and you're just like, yes, massa. I mean, what the fuck, man?
No.
You're just peddling to that McMahon. Did you join the Kiss My Ass Club for Vince McMahon? Because you seem to have that whole head up in that ass.
Hold up. One thing we ain't gonna do is call me no goddamn coon.
Coon. I didn't say coon.
I could say whatever the hell
I said. Your lips were on Vince McMahon's ass. That's what I said. I didn't say you were coon.
If other shit appears as bullshit to me, if I'm looking at the grand scale of things, if it's not done on a big worldwide platform, to me it doesn't matter. That's what y'all asking me.
Hold on.
One thing, right?
Hold on, Trevor. So
that's what
back.
Let's get fucking like a monkey, baby.
Whether you like it or don't like it, sit down and look at it because it's the best going today.
What I'd like to have right now.
It doesn't matter.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
It's showtime, folks. Get some man. And what you gonna do when Hulkamania and the largest arms in the world run wild on you? Who's next? Hey, how about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Cause that's the bottom line. To Stone Cold Simpson.
Get ready. Woo! We are on tour and we're doing it better than anybody else alive. What time is it? Tell me what time it is. You're talking to the Rolex. Wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling, dealing, limousine. dream will rise to the top. Oh yeah. Can you dig it, sucker?
Not afraid of any man in this arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
First of all, I'm not afraid of The Undertaker, not afraid of Bret Hart, not afraid of you, not afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, not afraid of any man in this arena, not afraid of any man who walks on this earth.
Make yourself famous! I just had an out-of-body experience! What did we just see? What did we just see?
I am fearless.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Wrestling
Wednesday.
So we picked a Wednesday night to come do this show. Get ready for this. When I come to the arena, I'm gonna leave you some memories. Make sure you there. Cause there's gonna be some blood and guts left all over that ring. And it ain't gonna be mine.
Oh yeah, it's Wednesday, and when it's Wednesdays, it's Wrestling Wednesdays. This is Van Cat, and I'm with Blackson and Master Blaster MD20. What's going on, y'all?
Hey.
All right. All
Peace,
right.
peace.
So,
Hey, how does my mic sound first and foremost?
oh, you're good, man. You're real good.
Okay, all right. Just giving you a heads up. I told Blackson I'm kind of in a bad area, so
Oh,
I may be in and out.
okay. Okay. All right. Well, today's episode, which is episode 12 of Wrestling Wednesdays, we're going to be focusing on gimmicks, stereotypes, and racism. Wrestling has a long history of gimmicks. That's pretty much what built the foundation of the industry. And there's been some good gimmicks. There's been some bad gimmicks. And a lot of these gimmicks can lead into stereotypes. And when there's stereotypes, there's always racism. So we'll look at a few of those instances today. Trevor should be here today. I didn't get any word that he wasn't going to be here today. Maybe he's a little late, but so we'll catch up with Trevor later. As far as we going into the show, so I just want to give a shout out to Yanga first of all. Just want to say what's up. Give a shout out to Gynocracy Takeover, all the usual people in the chat. You know, Deacon of Reality. You know, just appreciate your support on giving the arena and the show. So we appreciate you guys. Blackson, what do you think about some of the gimmicks that you've seen over the years in wrestling? Like any gimmick that stands out that you're like, oh my God, that was so horrible?
Kenny Omega, you know, with
Kenny
the blow-up. Yeah, that is probably the most cringe. I mean, I don't think nobody tops Kenny Omega with the blow-up doll.
So you so you would put Kenny Omega over, like, I don't know, like maybe the Shockmaster, or you know, like there's been so many stereotypical gimmicks. Like you got like wrestlers that have been plumbers, wrestlers that have been IRS agents.
Right, yeah.
It's like weird stuff, you know, like just about anything you can think of. A wrestler has been like there's even a wrestler. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have got the video to show you. There's a wrestler that he is a Democratic wrestler, like that's his thing. He's like represents the Democratic Party, and he wrestles in the most reddest of red states, like in that area in particular there. Like they're all Trump supporters. Like I think like it's like 95% all Trump supporters. And he wrestles in front of that crowd.
That's
and
funny.
everybody that wrestles him is instantly the baby face, instantly being cheered. And they just want to see him get killed in the ring. And
right.
Yeah, he's been approached with knives and guns and all kinds of things. And it was funny. I saw it on I think it was, I don't know if it was CNN or one of those other news outlets. They were profiling him, and he was just talking about the dangers of wrestling in that area. But he got a lot of heat, and it's just funny. And like he'll have like pro Hillary Clinton stuff on his tights. It was just funny as hell. But I'll have to get that video one day.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, but again, Kenny Omega is definitely on top of my list. Man.
Any particular reason why you don't like Kenny Omega?
I mean, no, I don't like the gimmick. The gimmick is kind of weird. You know, the ball, yeah, it's just kind of it's very it's just strange, you know. But no, Kenny Omega I don't have nothing against him personally. It's just his gimmick is really out there. Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, it's just really cringe. I've seen a lot of gimmicks throughout my years being cat, but yeah, Kenny Omega, he's at the top. Yeah, he's definitely number one. Jesus Christ.
What about you, MD? Any gimmicks in wrestling that you've seen that like really feel like it's really bad?
I mean, yeah, just overall, like Shockmaster was bad. You know what I mean? I think anybody, when they talk about like bad gimmick, usually people bring up Shockmaster.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But recent, like if I had to give something recent, a couple of them like Sunny Kiss, I can't do it. Like it's one thing to be gay and flamboyant, it's another thing to like act upon it within your gimmick like that. Like no, that is cringeworthy, and I can't watch it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like I said, it's been flamboyant wrestlers throughout the history of wrestling, but they were good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Adrian Adonis.
Adrian Adonis, Adrian
Johnny B. Bad.
Gold Dust, Johnny B. Bad. All of those was great gimmicks.
Yeah.
Sunny Kiss is not a great gimmick. Sunny Kiss made me want. I can't watch it. I literally just can't watch it. Another one is Effie. I can't watch something like that. Effie more in the lines of BDSM. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can't. You know, like cringeworthy. Yeah, those are my top two. Well, as far as modern wrestling, you know what I mean?
What about the gobbledygooker?
Oh man, I see.
Oh yeah,
when I talk about like bad gimmick, Shockmaster wouldn't have been a bad gimmick had he been good. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand gimmicks in wrestling, and I understand what they're there for. So I don't knock them. It's when the gimmick is portrayed badly is what lies the problem.
Yeah.
Like you talked about some of these gimmicks, like the gobbledygooker. That that's a one shot. But even go to some of the old '90s gimmick wrestlers, Duke the Dumpster Drosy. I understood his purpose. I'm not gonna say it was a bad gimmick because I understood it. Definitely, the Brooklyn Brawl is probably one of the greatest gimmicks of all time. But he was a jobber.
Yeah.
So I understand the purpose of it.
Like Barry Horowitz always tapping himself on the back. Another jobber that you've seen. Barry Horowitz. I don't know if you know Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, but I mean, do you really consider those gimmicks or just jobbers that are just like just plain?
They gimmicks. They gimmicks, but they're played well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And some of those jobbers, they're actually like the man in their local territory, but they're jobbing in the WWF. A lot of times, like they're actually in a league somewhere or in an organization, and they're like the top guy or like one of the top guys.
Cousin Phineas and all, you know what I mean? All that. Like that was stuff that I could understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you portraying the gimmick bad, that's when I got a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
So the greatest gimmicks of all time, Doink. Ain't nobody saying Doink was cringe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hillbilly Jim.
Oh yeah.
Man, Hillbilly
Oh,
Jim,
yeah.
Cousin Phineas. I understood that stuff,
Okay, yep.
and it was played right.
Right, that's true. That's true. There are just some gimmicks are just ridiculous, man. And some of those get-ups, like Elegante in WCW, when he went to
Giant
WWF.
mythology.
Right.
Oh yeah.
What is
That
up with that
costume.
suit? That
Yeah, that
suit,
costume was
man.
horrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah, just
At
horrible.
first, I thought they were trying to. You know what? Yeah, it was horrible. There's no excuses for that suit, man. That thing, yeah, it was horrible, man. God damn,
So,
and
so I
yeah,
heard about that. I heard that one of the reasons they put that suit on because I guess his physique wasn't
yeah,
Right,
good. But I mean, damn, he was over 7 feet. Damn, what do you expect? You know what I mean?
right,
right, right.
So
But that's
one of the
Vince
reasons
McMahon
that
again.
they were trying to like sculpt him and
yeah,
give
yeah.
a basically
Give him
suspend
a
the
perm.
imagination. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's right.
Yeah, but they could have put some drawers on him or something. I mean, the way the suit looks, it's like he's like pretty much like nothing on
Yeah,
with
Right.
a hairy back.
he looked like a Attack on Titan or something like that. Like I don't know, like it looked crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
What about okay? So I'm gonna put up another image of another gimmick here. So this is the
Oh yeah.
Mexicools.
Yep. I remember that one. Yep.
Now this gimmick falls right into gimmick, stereotype, and racism,
Racism.
right?
That's right. Yep.
Because like, what the hell, man? Why are we coming out as Mexicans with lawnmowers?
Yeah.
Like that's just like such a backhanded slap in the face right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it serves. Like why? I mean the guys that control the stories, the guys that control, the creative on what happens. Like, do we really need that? Like, it's just crazy. And like Trevor said something in one of the past shows, because this show is pretty much like the third in a trilogy. We had the Black Wrestlers 2, and now we have this show, and it's just all pretty much highlighting like. Bigotry, racism, stereotypes, all that stuff. It's all melded into one pretty much. And we're doing this in the month of February. Well, today's the 1st of March, but but it's focused on that specific angle there. And it's like, why? Why? Like, especially like look, you look at these guys, super crazy and psychosis. They're pretty good in the ring. They're very capable. They can do what
Two of
they
the
need to
greatest
do.
coaches of all time.
Exactly. Why are we wasting? Exactly. We're wasting this great talent we could do so much with. Another thing, I mean, sometimes you have these stereotypes and these gimmicks, they can end up being good or like, good gimmicks or good stereotypes. Like Eddie Guerrero's lie, cheat, steal. That I liked it, but it's not a good stereotype to say a Latino person lies, cheats, and steals. Like, why are we saying that about a minority? But I like the whole, like how he would get himself disqualified and win the match by making it look to the referee that the guy used an illegal weapon. I thought it was a cool thing, but I just wish he wouldn't emphasize so much on the lying and the cheating and the stealing. But I still like Eddie Guerrero. I think was amazing. So I guess he could make a lot of bad stuff work. So you got to give him credit for that.
And that's what he did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Plus, he's great
Right.
technical
Los
wrestler.
Guerreros, I think at the time when Los Guerreros started, I don't think they was expecting it to be as big as it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
And him, not only him, but and Chavo too. They got it over. You know what I mean? And it was one of the biggest deals at the time, and around that time, 2000, 2003, 2004, it was huge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Another gimmick that plays into stereotype and obviously has some racist connotation to it would be Crime Time. Crime Time. It's kind of embarrassing to look at that. I think that the two of them, they were good. Rest in peace to the gentleman that died in 20. Right. Yeah, but it sucks because that's another negative stereotype that's been painted throughout time. And it's like, here we go again with that. And they leaned into that, but they were a good team and they could actually be something, but they didn't have to be that, It's like, and ultimately they're not going to be remembered like the Four Horsemen or or like even Demolition or the Road Warriors. They're not going to be remembered like that. So why even bother going there with it? All right.
Again,
So
it goes back real quick. It goes back to what to expect at the black wrestler, like what we talked about in those 2 videos. Like it's almost a given that at some point in time you're gonna be asked to have a gimmick like that as a black wrestler, and it's up to you to either make it or break it. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's very frustrating because it seems like as soon as the black wrestler is in a program or in some sort of storyline, they immediately seem like they just throw their hands up and they're like, well, we don't know what to do here, so let's just do this. It's just crazy. Like there's depth to people. Like there's things that could be explored, but they're just comfortable going the race way. I just don't get it. I just want to go into the first video. We're going to take a look back at a promo that we watched before in one of the Black Wrestlers show, the first one actually. I want to take another look at that Triple H promo with Booker T. And then it'll go right into another promo that happened years later with Randy Orton. So we're going to check that out right now, and then I'll get your thoughts on the videos, okay?
Just a minute. There is no racism here in the World Wrestling Federation. We don't allow it. Won't allow it under any circumstances.
Yeah. What's good in the hood?
Just holding it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up. I'm a nigga.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Somebody like you doesn't get to be a world champion. You see, people like you don't deserve it. That's reserved for people like me. See, Book, that's where the confusion is. Your confusion is, see, you're not here to be a competitor. You're here to be an entertainer. That's what you do. You entertain people. Hell, you entertain me all the time. Go ahead, Book. Why don't you entertain? Go ahead. Do a little dance for me, Book.
Dance?
Go ahead. Give me one of those spinneroonies. Come on, Book, dance. Entertain me. That's your job. Don't be embarrassed. That's your role. Your job is to make people like me laugh, and you're very good at it. With your nappy hair and your suckers. Hell, I was laughing all week long after you won that 20-man over-the-top rope battle royal. I laughed my ass off thinking about you challenging me for the World Heavyweight Championship.
The three of you act like you're sitting on top of the world or something. Truth is, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of low-class street thugs. Take Mark Henry, for example. Last week, you stole a victory. An MVP, you are the definition of the common criminal. And Kofi Kingston, you should be in jail after what you did to my car. That stock car was custom wrapped. The only reason why I haven't done anything, I haven't put you down yet, is because I want to embarrass you and your entire team at Survivor Series.
Seriously, Montel, you call this VIP? I mean, you look VIP. Designer shoes, cute little watch. But your surroundings, not so VIP. Some disgruntled outcast and an ex-con.
You think you're balling with your pleather couches and your $50 bottle of champagne? Man, your bank account pales in comparison to mine.
You mean your daddy's bank account? Cody, Ted, and myself, we're all born in this business. This is where we belong. The only place that you three belong is the hood where you came from.
Look.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what we think about those two promos.
I mean, they were great promos, but for the races, yeah. But classic heel, you know what I mean? I think the problem with the promos is the payoff. The payoff was you know what I mean? If you're gonna go that extreme and that far of a route where you want to come up with an angle that's dealing with something like that, at least pay it off right. That's all I asked for. You know what I mean? So yeah, right. I just think the payoff was bad. You know what I mean? Were they provocative? Yeah. Yeah, were they provocative? Yeah. But in the world of wrestling, I understand where it was coming from based on the type of stuff that these black wrestlers were doing at the time. So I get it. And I'm not even gonna say I necessarily disagree with it. But like I said, if you're gonna do that, you gotta pay it off right. We all know Booker T didn't get the payoff. You know what I mean? Until later years with King Booker and all that stuff, but that's totally different. If you're gonna do something that provocative, pay it off right.
Right, and what's constant in both promos is the arrogance of I deserve better. You are lower, and you cannot get or succeed on a high level like us. Randy Orton says, we come from a wrestling family. We were built up into wrestling. We came up in wrestling. We belong here. You do not. And there was always that kind of tone. And like, if you're a little kid and you're not knowing about these things, and you just constantly hear that in your regular life, at school, at home, in the work, or if you're working in a workplace, and then you're watching something that's supposed to be entertainment, and then boom, it's right there. So many instances, you're going to be conditioned to be thinking a certain way, and that's where it's just a little bit aggravating this to see. And it's like the other thing that's problematic with these promos is that this isn't the 80s, it's not the 70s, 60s, it's none of that. It's in the 2000s, so that's right. It's just unexcusable. And then when you look, okay, well, who are the guys behind this? Of course, it's the McMahons, and we see their history of racist acts with Vince McMahon himself saying, "What's up, my nigga?" and like he thinks that's cool,
right?
Like this,
it's the way he said it, though, man.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. There you go. I'm just checking in the chat. Gynocracy says that nap was hitting. I mean, she must be talking about the nappy-headed thing, I guess.
I think she just woke up from it now.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. She must have a weird sleep schedule because she's up all night. She sleeps during the day. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Peace, Gynocracy, peace.
Oh man.
Yeah, actually that's the first time I've seen the Randy Orton one. Like I said, I've seen the Booker T Triple H one. But by that time, like I said, the age of the Kofi Kingston, when did I stop watching WWE, man? I think when WCW went out. Shit. I once they became the sole entertainers, man, it seemed like they just got more and more cartoonish, and like I said, more racist, more just outrageous. So
yeah. I remember the Legacy one. That was around 2000. What is that? 2008, 2007? When Legacy?
2010.
Oh, that was
2010.
in 2010.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Legacy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. So well, let's take a look at another one. This is a famous, popular, as far as like gimmicks and whatnot. We're gonna look at $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase in his most famous skit, I would say, the basketball skit. Let's just take a look back at that, and then we'll get our thoughts.
With the little kid.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's old school.
As I look around the crowd, it's obvious to me that most of you would do just about anything for a little bit of my money. And I'll tell you what, being the generous individual that I am, I'm going to give somebody here the opportunity. Look at that, Virgil. Look at the hands waving already. They all want a shot at the money. I'm going to give somebody here the opportunity to make some of my money. Now, all you got to do to make some of my money tonight is bounce the ball. Now, I know that's real difficult for most of you people because you can't chew gum and walk at the same time, but all you got to do is bounce the ball. Now, who wants to make $500? Look at that, Virgil. Look at the poverty. Let's look around here. Let's see who we're going to pick here. Let me see. Okay, we got us a little basketball player right here. Security, let's bring him up here. Bring him up here, right here. Come right on up here, son. Okay. Get around here where I can see you now. What's your name, son? Sean. Okay, Sean. Can you dribble a basketball? You can dribble a basketball, okay. Virgil, give him the basketball. Now let me see. Can you dribble that basketball 10 times? Let me see you dribble the basketball 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Oh. Okay, pick the ball up, Virgil. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Sean. If you can dribble this basketball 15 times consecutively without missing, look at here, I'm going to give you $500. Now, I know you and your family can use $500. I can tell by looking at you that you can use a lot more than $500. Okay. Virgil, give me the basketball. Okay, Sean, 15 times. Ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oops! Oh. We didn't get to 15, Sean. You didn't get to 15, did you? No. He didn't make 15. And you know what that means? What that means, Sean, is you've got to learn a hard, cruel fact of life. When you don't do the job right, you don't get paid.
I was renting a car. So this guy comes up and taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around. I'm looking at his chest. I mean, I'm 6'4", and went, oh my gosh. And he said, hey, Mr. DiBiase, I'm the manager here. He says, can I help you find a car? I said, yeah, sure, man. Find something that would fit both of us. And so he said, I'd be happy to. And then he just looked at me because he said, do you remember that thing you did with the kid in the basketball? And it was just the expression on his face. And I went, no. And he said, it's nice to see you again.
Oh, wow.
I said, are you kidding me? He says, is it really you? And he said, yes, sir, it is. And his name was Sean. And so then he said, you're really going to love this. He said, I actually went to college on a basketball scholarship. I said, see what I did for you, kid? Because of all the skits we did, that's the first one everybody brings up because, you know, it was so good. And that was Monsoon's idea. Yeah, we were in Milwaukee, and they said, well, what are we going to do with Ted? You know, what kind of skit can we do? I said, well, what's Milwaukee famous for? Somebody said beer and basketball. And I said, well, we can't do anything with beer, but so let's do something with the basketball.
All right. So, our thoughts on the skit.
Yeah, I
It's
remember that.
classic.
Yeah, I remember it. Yep.
The thing I think about, yeah, it is. MD's right. Blackson's right. Classic. It's just again, they picked the black boy out of the crowd to do that with, and if you listen to, because Ted DiBiase, he's doing his gimmick. His gimmick is the rich guy and stepping on the little man, and he does that well, but you hear what he's saying as he's trying to find somebody in the crowd, which of course the boy had to have been pre-selected or whatnot. But he's like, I know that just by the looks of you, you can use this money. You can use more than this money. Like you need more than the 500, it's just the piling on. It's just crazy. But I saw something on the news. I don't know if it was Inside Edition or regular news, and I remember years ago watching an update of that, and they said that boy never got the money. They thought it was a cruel thing, like the newscaster was saying that, oh, that is so cruel. And then they said, and you would think that they pulled him in the back and gave him the money, and they said no, they never gave him the money. So I thought that was just weird, so again, here we do something that is like with a racist angle, kind of, and there's no payoff there. And even after, okay, so you let that play out on the TV, but you would think they would like kind of clean that up in the back end, like maybe pull him out in the back and say, here you go, even though you didn't, even though we did that to you, here you go. But they never did it. It was crazy.
Yeah, Vince ain't getting nobody no money, man.
Hell no.
Vince ain't giving nobody no money.
Well, my question would be this, Vincat: if he's pre-selected, then wouldn't he already know everything that's about to go down?
That boy didn't seem to know.
Yeah, I don't think so. So the story that I heard, I heard that they they basically chose him like to do something, but he didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So try to make it as believable as possible. He didn't. Like they told him, "Hey, look, like we gonna get you involved some type of way," but he didn't know like what was going on with what.
And again,
that's what I heard.
With everything, every time they do everything, it's usually a white person.
Yeah,
Superman got to be white. Right? Jesus got to be white, right? Everything has to be, even RoboCop has to be white. Like everything, every figure, everything in media has to have a white take on it. And like you do this, and like Milwaukee is full of white people. Jeffrey Dahmer was one of them.
Yo.
We didn't pick a white person. We picked that little black boy, which again, that's some suspect stuff, but that's a company that's just been built on suspect activity. I want to go into right now, there's a clip of Stephen A. Smith talking about WWE back in when Hulk Hogan had his videotape exposed, and then they found out he was using the N-word loosely. So I just want to play that video, and you just hear his opinion of like wrestling and the different gimmicks and stuff. Check this out.
Well, first of all, he can call it whatever he wants. He was fired. He deserved to be fired. We can't dispute that. When you listen to the rhetoric coming out of his mouth, the stuff that he was spewing, it was vicious. It was meant in the negative fashion that Skip so eloquently states on multiple occasions, where it doesn't matter to me and a lot of black folks whether it ends with the A or the hard ER, as Skip would say it. But clearly, if anybody meant it with the hard ER, it would be what we heard from Hulk Hogan. There's no question about it. What I found myself paying attention to just as much, however, was the hypocrisy of the WWE. I grew up watching wrestling. I was an NWA fan when Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, who I had the pleasure of meeting during the NBA Finals, by the way, and Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Magnum TA and the Road Warriors. Those are the guys I grew up loving. Of course, I saw Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and Jimmy Superfly Snuka and, you know, all of those boys. And I remember not paying that much attention to it at that time. But I remember the Rowdy Roddy Pipers having a Jimmy Superfly Snuka on one of his shows, if I remember correctly, after insulting him and then surrounding the set with coconuts and pineapples and stuff like that, and then knocking him over the head with it. I remember Booker T being in the ring with Triple H, and Triple H uttering some negative words in his direction. I remember the one and only Jesse the Body Ventura, who not only was a wrestler, but also happens to be the 38th governor of the state of Minnesota, elected there in 1999, served from 1999 to 2003. This man was a governor. It was not before. It was after he sat up there and would call, a particular black wrestler buckwheat, when he would sit there and you know, I forgot who it was. I think it was Tito Santana, when he called his move the flying burrito and, you know, brought in the words tacos and all of this other stuff. I mean, when you see the history of racial insensitivity permeating the World Wrestling, at the time it was the World Wrestling Federation, now it's the WWE, it amazed me how quick they were to dismiss themselves from Hulk Hogan when a legitimate argument could be made. They created Hulk Hogan. Not just the Hulk Hogan we see in the ring, but the Hulk Hogan we heard on the tape. Because it was a behavior that quite honestly appeared, at least, to be encouraged by this organization in an effort to really establish yourself as a villain, thereby establishing heroes and making sure they combated one another, so you had somebody to root for, root against, and it elevated their product. So seeing that as a black man, I know that what Hulk Hogan said was egregious and heinous, and he deserved to be fired. I'm not going to even waste my breath talking about that. It is clear how he feels about black people. I can tell you that much. There ain't no way to deny that. And especially since it's something as serious as you talking about your daughter dating. You clear, we understand how you feel, Hulk Hogan. Ain't no way around that. No way. And I said what I said about the WWE. The only thing that gives me cause to pause, or at least momentarily it did, was the fact that this happened 8 years ago. It was privately in his home. He was talking to a friend who secretly taped it. And, you know, you get upset about that because even though, you know, I doubt sincerely that you'll catch any of us saying something so heinous, the fact of the matter is I don't know if any of us can say every single word that we say privately is something that we would want everybody to know publicly. But unfortunately, I get to look at it this way. If that's an argument we could use, then Donald Sterling could have used it last summer.
Good point.
When he got caught on tape, you know, with his, his mistress. So if Donald Sterling couldn't get away with it, why should Hulk Hogan?
Okay, so that one's a little tricky, Venkat.
Okay.
You're talking about not on the job, but at his house. So
Right.
you know, that one's a little, you know, because now we're talking about canceling people in their own home.
Right.
So I'm a little, that one, you know, it's different if you're in a professional place or, you know, any type of media, but you're in your home and then somebody would come to record you in your home. That's a little, that's kind of, I'm a little, that one's a little.
Yeah, it is messed up, but it does illustrate. I mean, a lot of okay, so when Hulk Hogan was outed saying the N-word, like just the fact that he was on a porn tape, you know, that didn't even matter. It was the fact that he had said the N-word, and it's like, you hear like there was a part of the wrestling community, black wrestling community, that totally was like, forget him. We don't want him around. He's trash. And there were some others, which you're always going to have that'll support him, right? Like Booker T, he was supporting Hogan, and you know, other people were supporting Hogan. A lot of white ones. Road Warrior Animal was supporting Hogan. Roddy
Well, it's
Piper was
funny
supporting.
you bring up Booker because I remember when Booker had blurted it out, the N word.
Right.
His only requirement was to go up to Hogan and apologize. And you know, I guess Hogan was like, "Hey, man, it's no big deal." So I guess Booker was like, "Well, you know, I did it."
Right.
So you know, and I guess there's some type of, you know, 'cause Booker thought, you know, I mean, at the time, man, people jaws hit the floor when Booker said it, and it was like,
Yeah.
you know, Booker was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck did I say?" You know what I'm saying? And so I guess that was a time where you didn't see the N word on TV, especially, you know, national TV where children are watching. So I think
Right.
he he excused Hogan because it took him back to when he was,
Right.
you
That's
know. So yeah, that's just
right. That's perfect. What you're saying there. That's perfect. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You know. So, but like some people like Big E, part of the New Day. I mean, he wanted nothing to do with Hogan. He's like, Hogan is just trash. Blah blah blah.
right.
And I totally understand that as well. You know, especially with his reputation. Hogan has a reputation in the industry for lying, for misleading, manipulating, and politicking. That's his legacy backstage. Undertaker has attested to this. You know, Iron Sheik he posts on Twitter every day about how much he hates Hogan. Shawn Michaels had his issues, so you know it's a known thing. So, but the one thing you would think was, or would hope, is that, or he could be all those bad scumbucket things, but he can't be a racist, can he? And then when that video came out, I guess that's why people were the controversy should have been the sex tape, but it really was ignored. Nobody
Yeah, it
cared.
was weird. Now that to
And
me was weird. The whole
yeah,
sex with Gawker, that was strange, man. That
yeah,
was the most strange, freaky. That was just weird, man. I was like, what the hell? So I don't know. You know, I kind of felt weirded out by that because I do remember hearing, you know, because like I said, it was in his house or see. Okay, wait. Was he at his house or the guy's?
no, he was at his friend's house.
Yeah, but
That
still,
radio
yeah,
jock, forgot
right.
his name now. It's
Yeah,
some
I
weird
forgot his
name.
name too, but yeah,
Yeah,
It's
he.
Bubba the Love Sponge, ain't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
Yeah, that's even a weird name, man. Yeah, that's kind
I
of
know. That's
weird. Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation where he sat down with his wife and was like, "Oh, baby, we got Hogan coming over. You mind getting
Mhm.
it on with Hogan?" I'm just like, that's just weird, man.
Yeah, it's weird, especially
It's
when that's supposed to
creepy,
be
dude.
friend.
Yeah,
Then you
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
record him.
I think the story was him and the dude Bubba the Love Sponge was supposed to be in some type of business deal, and he cut him out of it. So he
Oh,
was like, "Yeah, you motherfucker, I got you," and he
yeah.
put the tape out.
But that's an extreme response to that. I mean, goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
that is really strange, bro. That's weird. That's like twisted, bro. Like, what the hell? How
Yeah.
you convince your wife? I mean, oh, you know what? I don't even want to talk about it. It's
But
just,
but really,
oh
but
god.
really, that was him. That was him, like striking like a viper, because it ain't no telling how many times he recorded him. Like you thinking this person your friend, but he recording you as y'all talk. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Just to try to get a smoking gun on you, so we can use it
Wow,
later.
that's
That's some
crazy.
crazy shit.
That
Oh,
is
that is,
crazy.
yeah, that
Yeah,
is
that's
crazy.
crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. But also in the Stephen A video, not just the Hogan stuff, which in itself, yes, it's racist as hell, and it does shed a light. I mean, it was obtained not ethically,
Right.
but now the cat's in the bag that yeah, this guy is this way, you know. And but also what Stephen A was talking about the how can the WWE cancel or ban Hulk Hogan when they themselves have had this massive history of doing racist, insensitive content for decades. And now we're going to act like we're the pillars of society and we're going to cancel this guy and make an example out of him. But you've ordered and instructed all these different highly toxic and problematic promos, events, matches. They've done all these shuck and jive racist stuff. And it's just crazy. It's just really ridiculous. So that's the biggest thing on the video is like, we're going to cancel Hogan, but we're not going to address our issue. And
yeah, that is very hypocritical. Yeah.
And it's still going on. It's still going on to this day. They're still doing nonsense.
Then do you think they were more creeped out about the sex tape and just use the racism as an excuse? Because at one point I felt like that. I was like, oh, y'all
They didn't give a shit about that.
Oh, okay.
They didn't care nothing about that, bro.
I'm in between because, like China, she had the sex tape before she died. And someone asked Triple H, will China get into the Hall of Fame? Well, when a person does a Google search on China, that's going to come up immediately. And that's not a good look and blah, 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 and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem, because he's so disingenuous, Triple H, there's several people that have come through the WWE, that have had sex tapes.
Right.
Like that guy from New Day. I mean, he has a sex tape. That guy, Val Venus, he has one. It's several of them. And don't even talk about the female.
Half the roster got news out there. You know what I mean?
Right. And let's not forget, they were endorsing their female wrestlers to be in Playboy.
Yeah.
And they were putting the covers up on the screen, telling you to get the latest edition.
Telling you to buy the latest edition of Playboy. Yeah, I remember that.
But now China can't get into the Hall of Fame because she had a sex tape. But again, just like with
they
racism,
promoted her when she was on Playboy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. They sure did.
And that's the hypocrisy that I'm talking about. Like, there doesn't seem to be a need or want to fix things.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you that it is hypocrisy, but I think the Playboy was more of a business money move than anything, So yeah,
right, but
it'll all go down.
But don't bash China and say she can't get in the Hall of Fame because of that. I just thought that was weak.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that, man. So, yeah.
So wouldn't you be able to use that same logic with X-Pac?
And exactly, and he does exactly. That's so true.
Yeah, he was in it,
and he is in the Hall of Fame right now.
Wow. See, that's that's where things become just so obvious. So that's right. Tupac.
Everybody knows China deserved her own individual Hall of Fame induction, not with DA.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Very true. But
she of all women in WWE should deserve it. She deserves an individual induction. But you know how that goes.
Wow. Unbelievable. All right. So this next video, I'm gonna just go into something really quick. This one's on Jim Cornette. Let's take a look at Jim Cornette here.
Oh yeah, Jimmy.
Well, there's a handshake. I don't think that Aldis is taking this as seriously as he might should. Trevor Murdoch, he's mad, bad, and dangerous to know. He's the only man I've ever known that could strap a bucket of fried chicken on his back and ride a motor scooter across Ethiopia. Trevor Murdoch can take care of himself.
Okay. All right. So that's Jim Cornette. That was kind of quick. But that's Jim Cornette pretty much trying to, kind of legitimize a wrestler who happens to be white. He's a white wrestler, Trevor Murdoch. And he says he's the only man I know that can go through Ethiopia with a bucket of chicken strapped behind his back, and he can get out of there with no scratches, no harm. Because he's that tough. So he's, in essence, what he's saying is, because he knows in Ethiopia they ain't got no food, they ain't got no money, They just hungry all the time, which is so bad to be saying. And he's like, he has a bucket of chicken, and ain't nobody gonna hit him and take that chicken away from him because he's that tough.
Yeah. Jim Cornette is a very, very, very unique individual. But I will say this: he is an equal opportunity offender of everybody. But
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
that he's a gay man living in the South. So yeah, I kind of get it.
Allegedly.
Jim Cornette ain't gay, man. Come on, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay, allegedly. I'm sorry.
Allegedly.
Oh man.
Oh god.
I mean, I guess that's a whole other topic. But I mean, yeah, Jim Cornette has always been, just the equal opportunity offender. I mean, I think he offends everybody, but I know that's no excuse. But yeah, definitely racist. Yeah.
I'll say this again. In my opinion, Jim Cornette, the greatest manager of all time. That's just me. But the problem with Jim Cornette is he's stuck in the past. Like he refuses to go forward with anything wrestling wise.
Mm-hmm.
All the way to the point where even his commentary is like bad in regards to the past. Like would that would have worked 20, 25 years ago? Hell yeah, it would. You can't say you got to have some type of sense or wherewithal to say, damn, I can't like say that shit. Jerry the King Lawler used to do jokes like that all the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But as time went on, you ain't see him do no shit like that no more. Because somebody was in his ear, preferably Vince, was saying, hey, look, like a lot of that shit is not going to ride. The same with Jesse the Body when he was doing commentary. He used to do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
So again, he's stuck in his ways. He refused to accept any type of progress when it comes to pro wrestling. But he a genius. You know what I mean? He a wrestling historian first and foremost. But he refused to he refused to accept anything past basically 2005. You know what I'm saying?
But now
to him, all this shit is bullshit. To him.
Yeah. Now, MD, I got to ask you though, but when he tells story, I mean, does he not bring that nostalgia back? Because I mean, I can listen to him because damn. It's
that was the whole point. That was the whole point. NWA hired him for nostalgic purposes.
Okay.
A nostalgic NWA figure. But in his nostalgia, he says shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and that's not gonna ride.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, I don't necessarily blame Jim Cornette because I already know what Jim Cornette want to say. I blame management. You know what I mean?
It's like saying I don't blame that lion for eating that baby. A lion gonna be a lion.
I blame the mama.
100% true.
Yep. Fact.
All right, let's check out another Jim Cornette promo here.
Well, I tell you something, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson. Gibson, that hand ain't doing you too good, and it's going to be even worse by the time we get finished with you. And Ricky Morton, you've taken a beating of your life at the hands of the heavenly bodies, and that's only a prelude. That's only a beginning. When we get in that ring in Patesville at the high school, brother, we're going to do one thing and one thing only, and that's finish the Rock and Roll Express off once and for all. They've been begging for a title match. They've been begging just like those people line up at the post office the first of every month and beg for their welfare and beg for their food stamps and beg for their Social Security. Well, I tell you what, Ricky and Robert, right there in Patesville, November the 7th, you're going to be begging for your stinking lives at the hands of the heavenly body.
Well, I mean, we can apply that to white folks, but
Well, he slapped everybody. He slapped black people, white people, old people, poor people. Yeah. He just took a beating on everybody in one felt swoop. And this was all about attacking the Rock and Roll Express. I don't know how you went from Rock and Roll Express to black people. And I don't even understand how you can say Social Security is a handout when it's something you've been paying in all your life since you've been working.
Right.
That's just weird. That was just weird.
Remember he used to call Rock and Roll Express the Hillbilly Heroes. So, like I say, he knocked everybody, man.
Yeah. He
didn't give like Jim Cornette did not give a damn. Like
it just seems like he just like for no reason though. It's like no connection there. It's just like I'm just gonna say this racist or whatever thing I'm thinking off the top of my head. I'm just gonna say it. It's just weird. It doesn't even serve the purpose.
Remember, Jim Cornette, a gimmick is supposed to be like he's like this
Southern boy.
He's like this well-to-do Grant kid. You know what I mean?
A bratty child.
Yeah. And he's spending his mom's money.
Yeah.
On forming up these tag teams. That was his gimmick.
Yeah.
So, if he was always going to say he had more money than you, he was always going to demean you in some type of way. It didn't matter who you were.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to believe that he played tennis. You know what I mean? With the rap.
He has some sharp suits. I ain't gonna lie about that shit.
A different color suit every week.
Yeah,
every week.
Yeah,
different color.
Week. Yeah. Yeah, he played into them suits, man. He had a nice suit game.
Can't nobody out talk. I know a lot of people say Bobby Heenan. No, bro.
No,
you can't tell me Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette will out talk Bobby Heenan, hands down.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next video I want to go into here. Let me just cue it up right here. Let's take a look at another one of $1 Million Man's. Of course, he's gonna do his gimmick to the utmost. This is a promo he did with Sensational Sherry. He did this promo, which was against Tito Santana. So let's take a look back at that one.
Yeah, Sherry, this is the place. Smells just like it.
El Cinco Ted.
I'm sure all of you people have got to be asking yourself, what would a man of my stature, of my class, be doing in a place like this? Well, in an effort to bring you the truth and illustrate a point and teach you what Tito Santana, El Matador, is really all about, I have lowered my own personal standard. I have crossed the border into El Matadorville, and I am in the very neighborhood, in front of the very home where Tito Santana grew up as a boy. Now, one picture is worth 1,000,000 words. Feast your eyes on that. Now, you can tell by looking at this work of art that there was a lot of time and effort and love put into building this home. I believe it was built by that famous Mexican architect, Senor Slum. And what have we here, Sherry? I believe this is the local shrine. This is the very bed that Tito Santana slept on as a boy.
Oh, mucho gracias. That is mine.
Don't touch anything, Sherry. Don't touch anything. Oh, what a work of splendor. Just take a look around. And listen. Listen. Do you hear all that?
What?
All the hustle and bustle and activity in this community.
No.
You know that these people must be a very hard-working, industrious people, much like Tito Santana himself. And if you think this is bad, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, let's go. Please, let's go.
Okay, sure.
Please,
let's get back in the car.
What are thoughts on that promo?
Did Sensational Sarah say El Stinko?
Oh my God! So they're just going into this alleged place where Tito Santana grew up, which doesn't look like the richest place, but like they're just demeaning, like Mexicans or Latinos are beneath him, and everything smells bad, everything looks bad, everything's just bad around here, and it's just like they go to stereotype, and that's his gimmick, feeding that stereotype. I mean, as a younger kid, like Trevor would say, like you didn't know or pay attention to it. You were just watching wrestling.
Right.
But I think that's where the danger comes with a lot of this stuff, because it's stuff in the background, and it's just, that's where the acceptance come into play, and that acceptance can lead to people just being very numb when it comes to certain issues, especially as you get older, because you've been so passé with certain things. And I think those little things, with enough little things, it becomes a big problem. And I don't know. It's hard. Some of this stuff is hard to watch, man. Like after a while, like when you watch it back to back to back to back. But if you're watching it during the time, you're not thinking about it, you see it spread out in little doses. So it's easy to get under the radar at that point.
Again, like I said, I can understand, because this is an art form, right? You wouldn't say the same thing if you was on the casting call doing a typical black role, right? The problem is these type of angles, they need to be the ultimate payoff. If you're gonna have these type of angles and be that provocative, the angles got to be impactful. For one, it can't be just some program that you're just trying to get somebody involved. No, it's got to be impactful. With it being impactful, the payoff has got to be big.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be that provocative, you got to pay it off on the good end. You just got to do it.
What about those scenarios where, like, I paint a picture, like I saw something on the news that impacted my local area, where it was something with the water. So one week you hear about, oh my God, the water is so bad. Oh my God, and people are getting nervous. And then next week they gave the update that it was a false alarm, or everything was taken care of. But if you're a person that just saw that first week's show talking about the water, in your mind you're on that level continually, because you never got that second show. So with wrestling, you're not getting it all at once, but you're still feeding media, or you're feeding videos and stuff that have a certain tone to it, and then we just leave it there, and then we revisit it like a week later or a month later or down the road, and that may be too late. That person that saw that initial may not see the so-called payoff, and in the process, you're just doing these negative stereotypes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but again, for somebody that's invested, okay, so that's like, okay, let's go back to the Triple H and Booker T.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate payoff. It's WrestleMania we talking about.
Mm.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna do something that provocative, they did it right place, right time. You know what I mean? Just unfortunately, it was a bad ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why waste being that provocative to basically try to put the shovel on Booker T? Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, it in my eyes, it just has a black person. It looked like, okay, you just demeaned this man for no reason. You know what I mean?
They kind of went out of their way. Yeah, pretty much. What's your thoughts on that, Blackson?
Yeah, I mean, I second the motion. I mean, the thing with, like you said, the '80s. I guess like I said, it should definitely be a big payoff. Now the thing with the '80s, I didn't realize, because I do remember seeing that in the '80s, but I guess because I don't know, I didn't connect the dots back then. But now looking back at it now, it's just like, damn. And you even had Sherry participating in this shit, just like, wow.
Holding her nose.
So that was just, yeah, damn.
Okay. Well, since we've done $1 Million Man, might as well do one more $1 Million Man. Here's a promo he cut against Dusty Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes.
Dusty? Dusty, is that you? No, the rodeo's not in town. Like every red-blooded Texan would say, everything's bigger and better in Texas. Right, Rhodes? Well, I'm here to tell you that there's something bigger and better than Texas right here. My bank account.
And you say, Dusty Rhodes, that blood is thicker than water. What a noble thing to say in behalf of that punk kid of yours. Well, I'm here to tell you, Dusty Rhodes, that I have something that's thicker than water and thicker than your blood. My money. And at the Royal Rumble, Dusty Rhodes, it's gonna be just like I've said it will be all along. When the smoke clears and the dust settles, you and that punk kid of yours will be on your hands and knees begging for my mercy. Do you understand that, Rhodes? Begging for my mercy. Oh, no. Look at this. Look at this mess, Virgil. Clean it up. Go on, clean it up. Just like Virgil's cleaning up this mess at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to clean up the biggest mess of all, the Rhodes family. A little more. You missed a spot.
So that's $1 Million Man running his gimmick. You know, that's his gimmick.
Yeah,
you know, the powerful, money-driven guy that could get anything he wants, do anything he wants, and he can never hear the word no. So, but what's funny to me about that promo is like it's completely focused on Dusty Rhodes and Dustin, and let's take a detour and let's do some racist crap. Let's embarrass this black guy that's my servant, just for good kicks, you know.
Yeah,
that was like one of the first times. Yeah. No, I get okay. So if you're doing a wrestling angle, a story, you know, all that stuff, your gimmick, all that stuff. If you're doing that, it feeds into what they were doing. So that was Royal Rumble 1990 time, where they were going to do that tag team match, and they were going to have they're going to have Dusty and Dustin face Virgil and $1 Million Man. And this is the time when they were grooming and building Virgil to break away from the $1 Million Man and stand up to him. So they did back then, which that's one of them, little nuggets of $1 Million Man, like overly being rude and disrespectful to Virgil. But if you remember the character when he first introduced Virgil was just there, and he was just looking hardcore, and you know, he never dissed Virgil. But then when we got there, that's when they started to push it in that direction to build a story. And I get that, but it's like these stories just conveniently and numerously just always go there. You know, it's like always going that route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a frustration. Like being older, like having that perspective now and seeing it, it's like, oh my God, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And even like a person like Stephen A., who is not a major wrestling fan anymore. Back then, he said back in those days, yes, he was. And you know, what he pointed out, I have to agree. I don't agree with Stephen A. on a lot of crap, but I gotta agree with that. You know, like the racist stuff is just like so abundant.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, we're talking about, you know, 70s, 80s. You know, I guess it was just a norm when it came to a lot of the angles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And for the most part, especially dealing with the NWA, a lot of those crowds were like, go back and watch an NWA show. Go back and watch a WCW World Championship Wrestling NWA show. Look out in the crowd. Don't pay attention to what's going on in the ring. Look out in the crowd. What do you see? The majority of them shows is black people. That's the crazy part about it. And so you would think that you would want to have a big payoff in terms of a lot of those angles that you were doing. But I understand you got a crowd, you want to get some heat. Say something about black folk. It's easy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I get it. And I totally understand. But if you ain't gonna get no payoff for it, that's when a lot of those wrestlers that back, you speak up and say, hey, if you can not start giving us a push with a lot of the stuff you're doing, we just won't do it. See how far you get, you know? But you know, we weren't thinking like that at that one time.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Very true. Very true. All right. So I'm going to play this little short clip here of Jim Ross talking about race and religion in professional wrestling.
Teddy Long is going to be making a comeback here as well. He had been a referee, just sort of sitting at home waiting on a call, and then he gets a call where they want him at TV tonight, and they bring him back to introduce D'Lo Brown and say that D'Lo Brown was not in the Rumble because of racism, and they're doing a big racial angle here, and they're even mentioning Martin Luther King's birthday in order to get heat. And he would say that Martin Luther King and what happened to him proved that pacifism doesn't work. Meltzer would say this was so tasteless because it accomplishes nothing. It won't draw a dime, and it only makes people rethink watching the company again. What'd you think of, you know, the idea of, listen, I understand we need something for Teddy to do, and we want to get D'Lo on TV and put him in a featured spot. I'm for both of those. But race angles in wrestling, I think we could probably do without those.
Yeah. Don't go there.
Yeah.
Race, religion are two things that pop into my head right away. There's no reason in this wide world of creative and all the opportunities and things that we could be doing, other than pointing out that it's you know, it's just hard to understand why we're doing that. And, you know, is it based in reality? Are there racists out there? Well, hell yeah, of course there are. Unfortunately, it's pretty sad, but I would not have gone that way. I would not have brought in religion or race whatsoever. I wouldn't even got close to that.
All right, that was Jim Ross on his view on race and religion in wrestling. What do you think about his point of view on that, Blackson?
Yeah. I mean, he's on point. Yeah, he was well spoken, articulate about that point. You know, yeah, I think you're basically just seeing, the sign of the times, evolution of wrestling, and yeah, definitely Jim Ross. He represents a paradigm, a paradigm shift, because I mean, he's always been the one with the level head, the one that's rational. And I give Jerry King Lauder some credit too, because he was part of that paradigm too. But like you said, yeah, it just, I think, when I think about that evolutionary change, yeah, I definitely think of Jim Ross.
Right. Thoughts on that, MD?
Yeah, I mean, totally, most definitely, like most noticeably, like with the thing with Teddy Long when they did that whole angle, and then you turn around and basically tried to mirror it with the whole, and I mean, it was kind of watered down. It wasn't to the effect of with D'Lo, but with Rodney Mack. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I get it. You don't. It's one thing putting racism in terms of bigotry of black people, but you can have a payoff from that. You can't have no payoff from trying to weaponize bigotry and racism. Like, it don't work. Like in the case of Nation of Domination, it talk about the Attitude Era and the type of stuff that they were doing, and that was probably the only good part about weaponizing the big. But I saw it was a gimmick. It wasn't necessarily them trying to single out a certain situation. You know what I mean? That ain't what the Nation was about. But they did weaponize, overt racism and made a gimmick out of it, and it was a good gimmick. As far as the religion part, I mean, I get that too. Most notably what comes to mind, like the whole modern son thing. You know what I mean? Like you to the ring, all this type of stuff, and you trying to capitalize off the recent 9/11. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
what happened? What was the event? What was the event that made them fire Muhammad Hassan? What I forget which event it was. Do
Not
you
sure.
remember?
No, I don't remember.
I forget what they fired him for. Something happened, man. It was some type. It was after 9/11, of course. I don't remember. I don't remember if it was the London attack. It was some type of Muslim attack, and the man lost his job.
I know exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, the man lost his job. He wasn't even Arab. He Italian.
Yeah.
He playing the gimmick that you gave him.
Exactly. That they gave him. Exactly.
Yeah.
And as a result, I get fired for something that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Wow.
That you gave me. Right. You gave me the role. Now I'm fired. Man, that's yeah. Yeah. That's bad move.
They're bold with it, man. They are bold with it. All right. So at this point, I want to go into like a little over 5-minute video. This video is going to be talking about the history of blackface. And they will come back on the other end, and then it will lead into a different promo.
Host Megyn Kelly's show was canceled this past week following her on-air remarks expressing acceptance of blackface. It's a racist show business practice most of us thought was long gone. But as Maurice Dubois is about to tell us, blackface has a long history in our country.
It happens all too frequently, often at Halloween, but not exclusively.
They thought it was a joke, but it really just was not funny at all.
For example, 2 years ago in Maplewood, New Jersey.
Her daughter posted this photo of herself and a friend in blackface.
The two girls had no idea what blackface was or the history of it.
The history of blackface is long and complex and deeply ingrained in our culture.
Who was that lady I saw you with this afternoon? That was no lady. That was my wife.
Even Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd blacked up.
Fantastic, isn't it?
For more than 100 years, white and then black performers wore dark makeup and created not only a popular theatrical form, but stereotypes that are still with us today. Blackface represents a strange mix of envy, fascination, desire, and fear.
Explain the fear part to me. What are these white performers, what are these white people afraid of?
They're afraid of black groups, mobs, rising up and taking the power.
Minstrel shows began in the 1830s, and white performers used burnt cork or later black grease paint. Minstrelsy eventually became the most popular form of entertainment in the country.
The hat, the overlong tailcoat, mocking. It always gives me the jolt that racist history does. Blackface is so tied to comedy, to people enjoying themselves, to people having fun, that rattles you still more.
Well, Mr. Tambo, you seem to be enjoying yourself this evening. Enjoying myself? I sure is.
White minstrel performers claim that what they did on stage was based on their perceptions of how black people lived.
Some of this came out of a genuine fascination with the music, the songs, the dances, the performance styles of black people.
But it's also where Jump Jim Crow was born, along with other characters depicted as lazy, lying, or buffoonish. Remember, this was all happening before the Civil War.
Slavery was all about creating visions, types, stereotypes of an entire race of people as subhuman in every way.
By the 1860s, African Americans began using blackface on stage.
Why on earth would a black performer put on blackface and demean him or herself?
Look, this is the 19th century. They had limited options. They were expected to.
Why?
Because it made the audiences comfortable. You can be fascinated, you can be excited, but you can always feel superior.
In effect, the black makeup on a black performer became a theatrical mask with many layers of meaning.
But it gave black performers access to the stage.
One of the biggest black stars to come out of the minstrel tradition was Burt Williams, who wore blackface from vaudeville to Broadway.
It's clear that he was a genius of a performer.
But how did he reconcile performing in this demeaning art form?
He was very melancholy about it. He knew it was necessary for his career, as all other black performers knew it.
Minstrelsy on stage basically died out in the 1920s, but blackface lived on in the movies.
I'd walk a million miles for one of your smiles.
In 1927, Al Jolson starred in the pioneering talking picture The Jazz Singer.
I don't like the way he said that.
In the Our Gang comedies of the 1930s, Spanky appeared in blackface.
Buckwheat, did you say Spanky was in a lot of trouble? Yes, sir.
The gag here is that the gang doesn't realize that that's Spanky in blackface until they actually see Buckwheat.
Hiya, Buckwheat. Hiya, Buckwheat.
So the gist of it is that you put blackface makeup on anyone and they become black.
And that's supposed to be hilarious.
And it's supposed to be really funny.
When he grows up.
And it goes on. During the golden age of the Hollywood musical, Judy Garland.
When he walks down the street, folks will say, pleased to meet Mr. Franklin D. Roosevelt Jones.
Bing Crosby.
That's why we celebrate this blessed February day. Abraham.
Fred Astaire, and many others, all blacked up. It's still in the culture.
You know, some people say in order to move forward, we need to put this stuff behind us, as painful, as just upsetting that it may be.
Well, you know, any form of history that gets suppressed or repressed or erased out, it comes back to haunt. What has to happen now is a discussion, an acknowledgement of this charged, complicated, painful history.
All right. Thoughts?
That last picture, dude. Oh, that last picture, who was that dressed up as Stevie Wonder?
What? I don't know.
Shit. But so the minstrel in the 20s definitely one movies came out like late 30s, early 40s. You know, they were. Al Jolson was actually I've seen a lot of Al Jolson movies. He was actually like pretty good. You know, I ain't gonna front. But again, it goes to show what we perceive as entertainment is what we usually accept. You know what I mean? Same go for wrestling. You know what I mean? We accepted a lot of the debauchery that was in the Attitude Era because it was just what it was at the time. So goes entertainment, so goes society. That's a common conception of how we view stuff. You know what I mean? Blackface, yeah, it's demeaning to anybody, including black folks. In that time, it was an art form. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of Burt Williams and Al Jolson they actually did Burt Williams was like kind of older at the time, but Al Jolson was like the main guy at the time during the movie era. They actually did something, and like I say, it was one of the best movies set of that year. I can get it up. I think it was 1939.
Mm-hmm.
Get the name of the movie. But yeah, I mean, it was considered art form. You know, I mean, for a white person to try to emulate what black culture was at the time was considered skillful. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
A lot of people necessarily didn't look at it as something that was just to demean black people. The skill was in trying to emulate black people. The sand dance in a lot of the minstrel shows that the white boys was doing, like that took years of training You know what I'm saying? But you know, looking at it in retrospect, yeah, it's demeaning because we understand what our culture represented,
Not only is it,
and
not
that goes for
only
wrestling too.
yeah, of course, it not only demeaning, but like when you look back at it through today's lenses, and you have all this understanding about things in general, it just looks stupid. Like it looks like the person doing it just looks idiotic and buffoonish. You had people in that reel, like top notch, historic, legendary people like Fred Astaire, Judy Garland. I mean, it's like jarring to see. And, I'm just like looking at him like, what the fuck? It looks so ridiculous. Like, what is the purpose? Like, I mean, what is the purpose? Like, seriously, like, is the racism that deep knit? Or, like, what were they thinking? Like, seriously, because it just looks stupid. Like, I'm going to paint myself a dark color as if we don't know what that means already. And then somehow we're going to do a performance piece, and then this is like good. I don't get it. I just don't get. I've never gotten, even as a little kid, I never got that. I just thought that looks so odd and ridiculous. But I guess the heat is just that
I
deep.
get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but understand it from the perspective of the people at the time. I give you an example. My grandma she basically had a crush on Yul Brynner. You know who Yul Brynner is, right?
Heard the name before, yeah.
He played Pharaoh in the Ten Commandments and the King and I. Both Yul Brynner. I forget what Yul Brynner was. He was a Russian. I think he was Russian. He was like, he was something over there in Eastern Europe. Basically a white man. He had some type of ethnic distinction, but he was basically a white man. His top two movies played, quote unquote, and I don't believe it, but other people say so. We'll just use it for the example. He played an Egyptian pharaoh, and he played a Siamese emperor. Two of his best performances of all time. When you bring up Yul Brynner, they're gonna bring up the Ten Commandments, and they're gonna bring up the King and I.
Right.
So from that aspect, a lot of these what we call thespians took it for skill and nothing more. You know what I'm saying? So look at it from the perspective of our people at that time. I don't think. Go ahead.
Well, I just have to, because what you're saying, I mean, it's just making me think stuff. So, what do you feel about Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal in Tropic Thunder?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
I think Robert Downey Jr. is corny in my opinion anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I know some black people. I know some black people that love Tropic Thunder.
Oh, I love it. I think
I'm pretty sure you do
funniest
too.
movies ever. I think it's one of the funniest.
It ain't to me. No, I don't. That's not my type of comedy. You know what I'm saying?
But
I'll
like say this, like,
it's black people that love Tropic Thunder.
With Robert Downey's portrayal in that movie, at first going into it, I was like, "What the hell?" But like you look at what he's doing, what he's saying, how he's saying it, the way he's moving. It was like, to the point that you were making earlier. The people back then in the 20s or 30s, they were doing it as like a skill and an art form. He kind of did it, like he did two things there. He did like a skillful portrayal of a black man, like being in character without trying to disrespect the source. And then at the same time, he kind of brought lenses to the fact of people doing what he's doing, but in a malicious way. Because I think what he did there was no malicious intent versus what another person may do. And it's like to make black people look stupid, black people sound stupid, black people just reacting stupidly. And I think those are two levels to it. I think that in a normal world, where people weren't so racist, you could do that, because we have people that are painted
Yeah, no
different
doubt.
colors all the time. We have people in makeup, Freddy Krueger, and that's art form. But because of the racial history, that's as soon as you touch anything that's suggested about being black, then that's when it becomes problematic. But there is a clear difference
So with
in
that
a
being
lot of
said,
this.
by default. So with that being by default, it is demeaning by default. Then, even if it's funny or not. Like I give another example. Like I said, I think Robert Downey Jr. is corny, but when Gene Wilder did it in Silver Streak, that was funny as hell. You know what I mean?
What about Soul Man?
So
Soul Man.
like I said, I understand. Yeah, I understand the intent.
Oh, Soul Man, my God, I don't know, man. That's a notorious movie right there, man.
Right, yeah.
This guy looked like he
I
took
understand
shoe
that.
polish. He took shoe polish and painted himself dark. Oh my God. I don't know about
like when I look at somebody like Gene Wilder is a classic comic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all the Gene Wilder shit is funny. You know what I mean? Whether it's Silver Streak, Blazing Saddles, whatever. When he did it in Silver Streak, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So now, what happens when we flip it? Like, what about Eddie Murphy and Coming to America when he did the old white Jewish guy?
Jewish guys, yeah.
That was funny. That was funny as hell.
It was not only funny, but you couldn't tell if you didn't know. You couldn't tell that was Eddie Murphy. I thought. I mean, he did a pretty damn good job. But yeah, it's funny too.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like I said, the intention is to be as skillful as possible when doing.
But we know the ones.
Again,
we know the ones with the intent. Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, MD.
Yeah, most definitely. No, I was saying most definitely. I may have a delay because, like I said, I'm in a bad area. So again, it's intent versus the sign of the times, so to speak.
Right. Well, in keeping with that blackface theme, let's go to a DX promo from back in the 90s.
You know, the Croc just came from the bathroom. The Croc. And you should have smelled what The Rock was cooking.
Oh, look at Velo. Nation ain't gonna like this.
I ain't faking. You should have smelled what The Rock was baking. The Rock was baking. Brother was baking.
look at Velo. He's the man. He's gonna shake his hand. And the people are standing up. Look at this.
When it comes to the Croc and the ladies, and the Croc hits rock bottom, he has no choice but to lay the smack down on himself. You hear that? The brother smacks himself down.
Oh, look at Velo. Oh, man. Can you imagine The Rock? He's broken every piece of furniture in his living room right now.
Hey, Rock.
Ozark Henry.
I don't know what you're cooking. Smells like
oh, my.
But I think I'll eat some anyway. You know something, Mark Henry? Ozark Henry.
Right.
I know you're the world's strongest man, and the Croc's got a hell of a body himself. But there's one thing the people want to know. How do you get your pecs to go all the way around to your back like that?
Oh, man.
What he wants to know is how... Shut up! Look. Shut your mouths and know your role. Nation, it's real simple. We got 2 words for you. Suck it!
Boy, you talking about throwing some gasoline on this rivalry. The Nation and DX thing's going to be off the page.
Okay. So that was DX cutting a promo in blackface on live. Well, I don't know if it was live because it's WWE. They weren't always live. And against the Nation of Domination. What do we think about that?
Sign of the times, man. Like that, it was must see TV at the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Again, it goes back to the point that we were just making. With that, it was an angle. It was them, basically making mockery of the nation, and it was what it was. Was it demeaning from a general sense? Yeah, but it was funny. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Like I said, it was must see TV, and going back even with the when they had the whole angle with Nation and DX and Hurt Foundation when they
Right.
was trying to use innuendos of racism, trying to
Right.
rile up the Nation to go at Heart Foundation, and when they spray painted the locker room and all of that.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, to me that was worse than this. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What do you think, Blackson?
Yeah, that's a wild promo, man. Yeah, that you like you said, it's a fine line between being offensive and then making fun of the people. And like you said, it's kind of it's bad taste, bro. But I see what they were trying to do, but nah, mm-mm. Yeah, that was just mm-mm.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, every time there needs to be something that WWE and wrestling in general, because WCW everywhere has done this nonsense. I mean, they were having a good old time. I mean, you heard Jerry Lawler; they were just laughing it up. There's like certain inside jokes there as well.
Yeah.
According to Conrad Thompson, he was saying that little thing that X-Pac said about it smells like crap, but I ate it anyway. Well, there's a rumor that wrestlers, they like to do what's called ribs, where they like they pranks and whatnot in the back room, in the backstage area. So I guess one day somebody got a hold of food for that would belong to Mark Henry, took a crap, put it in the food. I think it was a burger. And Mark Henry came minutes later, picked up the burger and ate it, and ate the whole burger. Never knew anything.
Oh,
that
shit.
was the rumor, according to Conrad Thompson. So when X-Pac is saying, but I ate it anyway, I think Mark Henry, afterwards, they were saying, Mark Henry said, hey, wait a minute. Did somebody do something to my food? And that's one of the rumors that they said happened. I don't know if it's true or not, but
right, yeah.
according to Conrad, it was that's what happened. So that's just crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that we could just like pass this point in wrestling, but not just wrestling, just in media and entertainment in general. But going back to the video I showed with the blackface piece, the history of blackface, what do we think about like the idea of, yes, these things are horrible, they're bad, they're uncomfortable in many cases, right? So do we ban it? Do we erase it? Do we suppress and hide it? What is our thought on that?
I mean, if you ask me, I would say no. I would say no because it can captivate an audience and it can lead to something greater to instill a story in somebody. The problem is the culture today ain't gonna allow it. So it don't matter what I say. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what I say. Yeah.
They I guess like Gone with the Wind recently got a lot of heat because people started looking at that movie differently. That movie is Gone Win is still the most highest earning movie ever. They won't tell you that. They're going to tell you it's Avengers or Avatar. But when you adjust the dollars for the time, because when that movie came out, I believe it's like the 1940s. So back then, there was no cable, there was no TV, period. So the usual custom back then was when you wanted to get entertained, you had to go out and go to the movie theater to watch a movie. And that movie made the most money in its time. And when you adjust those dollars, it's still by far the most profitable movie. Movie that earned the most money, I should say. But now people with these, with over the time of dealing with all this racist injustice and all this stuff like that, people are looking back at past and they're kind of like pointing a finger on it. I think this is okay. So this is your social justice stuff that they love to say, the cancel culture, and what else do they call the woke stuff, right? Which that's an issue in itself. Anybody talking about woke, because where did woke come from? That's black slang that came from black people, and now we're putting it in a negative way, being woke. And what's the alternative? Slept? I don't want to be slept, but so going back to what I was saying, so you have this situation where you have this material out there, people want to ban it, they're looking badly at it, and they want to bury it. I think that's a mistake, because you'll never learn from things if you hide things away, and you're destined to repeat things if things. That's why I love what the Jewish community does. They don't run away from the Holocaust. They have museums to commemorate it. They talk about it. They bring it up every year in the school semester. It's understood. I think when you have a period of time when you just bury things and don't think about it, that's where the opening is for it to reemerge. Yeah. So,
well, most importantly, they control it. So
right, they control the narratives. Right, exactly. That's a great point, MD. They can control their own narrative. They can tell their story rather than their story being told by someone else. I think that's something sorely that black people need. Snoop Dogg complains a lot about the slave movies, especially the current slave movies. And like there was the one point where they were just coming out by the slew.
I remember. Yep.
I mean, so he's so sick of slave movies because he said he doesn't want to see his people being beat down and treated like this. I don't feel that way. I understand. Like, so in Hollywood, like it's usually white people greenlighting projects. They're the ones putting the money into what we're going to see, into what movies are going to come out. So yeah, there is something funny there. They're like people that are not us talking and telling our story. I think, but that goes with, like, we have these powerful people in media like Oprah and Jordan and all these people, but the only one that really made a mark really was Tyler Perry with his studio, so that we can tell our stories. But what if we would have had something together, put in the same pot and make a dominant big studio? Like there's a Warner Brothers, there's a Universal, there's all these New Line Cinema, there's all these different studios, but like we don't have like a major black studio that was funded and built from the ground up, so that we can tell our own stories and our own narrative could be said, rather than having to face these stories that may not be as authentic. But that's a story for another day, as far as us coming to an understanding of what we need to do and what agenda needs to be fulfilled to do these things better.
It makes me look
go ahead.
sideways too, because I collect a lot of foreign films, and one of the most famous films out of Brazil is called Colombo. Colombo is slavery uprisings, and I'm like, wow, why you don't never show these kind of movies here in America? But in a lot of Latino countries in Brazil, they show your Colombos, your slave revolts, and how the slaves ambushed different ships and made like little colonies down in Brazil. So yeah, it's just I think that's very important. You know, you don't never see and a lot of people. It's funny because when I first came into the league, I think it was Taz, him and Nyla, they were unaware that there were slave revolts. And I said, oh, there's a slew of slave revolts, hell, a bunch of them, but they don't ever talk about them. So I think I feel Snoop Dogg for every slave movie there should be a revolt movie to go along because there were a lot of revolt movies. You know, we just talk
Right.
about
There's no
slaves, slaves, slaves.
balance. There's no
Yeah, there's
balance
no
to it at
balance. Yeah,
all. It's very
absolutely
one
not.
sided for sure. For
Absolutely.
sure. But that goes again. We don't have a conglomerate of black people doing that. Like,
Right.
because representation does matter, and seeing your story being told authentically from your lens is going to be a lot different than somebody that doesn't have a vested interest in what's being said, how it comes off, or how it looks, and they'll just throw anything up there. And I mean, pretty much all my life, every slave movie I've seen, it's pretty much goes the same way.
Same way. Yep. Yep.
You know, and like you said, you know, you got those revolts. I've never seen that. I think the first time I've seen any kind of suggestion of that there was a revolt in any fashion was that Trey Parker, not a Trey Parker, that guy Parker, he made Birth of a Nation, the remake, not the original. That was a few years ago.
Okay.
The movie it didn't light the industry on fire or anything, but it was just interesting to see that. Yeah, right. It could have. Well, a lot of things that he did could have been better, but it was just interesting to see that even be entertained as a possibility. I never heard that side. I never heard that story.
Right.
And it would be interesting to have a movie, a major movie, not no straight to DVD or something that's being played underground, but like a real major movie on like black slave owners. Like in Africa, there were black people that enslaved people.
Yeah.
And they gave the slaves over to the white people. And like that story needs to be told so badly. And like it's just not there. It's not there, you know. We've got a lot of Medeas, but we don't got those stories.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, the whole thing with Tyler Perry, yeah. His story is cool, but at the end of the day, he bought and sold too. I don't care how much money and influence he got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hell, I look at Medea movies just like Ernest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Madea,
that's exactly what it is.
To jail.
Yes,
That's
exactly what it is.
I mean, but Blackson, did you say it was a cool little series that you liked from Tyler Perry?
Oh yeah. Now this one I like. It's called Ruthless, but it dwells on the religious fanaticism of people. That's what I like about it. So it's kind of like black people, but so you know you got your David Koresh's, you got your Jim Jones. So they got black people. Like what if like. And that's why I tell people to watch it because it is good, man. I love that show, but it just shows the religious fanaticism of people on all different levels. You know, they basically have a commune. They're basically making fun of Malachi Z. York. Basically, they're portraying him. But yeah,
I have to check that out.
Yeah, Ruthless, man. Yeah, it's available. And another movie I want to recommend too because people always talk about Black Panther and Wakanda. Man. Punishment Park, 1973. Check that out.
Punishment Park?
Yeah, Punishment Park. It's on YouTube. Yeah, Punishment Park, 1973.
Wow.
You can watch it right here free on YouTube, man. You know, people always talk about Black Panther, and I'm like, oh man, they done derailed Black Panther, but I get it because you know the comic book came out same time as you know the actual party. But if you want to see a movie that's just Punishment Park, 1973, man. Check that movie out. It is awesome.
Right.
Yeah, one of my faves. It's definitely in my top 5.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting. All right. Well, with continuing the conversation, let's take a look at something I didn't see until recently. Just want to get your guys' opinion on this Hulk Hogan promo. And this promo is being shot on Kamala. He's having a steel cage match with Kamala. So he's going to drop this promo to hype up his match. So let's take a look at his promo for Kamala, and then we'll have our words.
There is no racism here in the World Wrestling Federation. We don't allow it. Won't allow it under any circumstances.
The return match, the heavyweight title on the line inside of this steel cage. Kamala, the Ugandan headhunter, against Hulk Hogan. And somehow, Hulk, I don't think the HH on your forehead stands for Hulk Hogan.
No. We'll find out who the real headhunter is, man. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a Shaka Khan's tooth, wizard. Like I said, man, the steel cage was the only thing we needed to cut the line between insanity and the ultimate beast, man. I have to go through this. I have to go in this steel cage because of you, wizard, because of Kimchi, and because of the beast, the Ugandan giant, programmed to wipe me out and all my Hulkamaniacs. But the intimidation factor, man. The simple fact that the Ugandan giant understands the pain of the steel cage, the danger involved, and the fact it's not another plate of red meat, it's not another pat on the back, it's not another native in the mumbo-jumbo pot for a reward. It's the Ugandan giant's life and soul on the line. The steel cage shall make the difference, man. I'm the better beast, Kamala. You're mine. I'm hungry for you.
Toronto, this Sunday night, Maple Leaf Garden. Don't miss it.
I never saw that.
What?
I never saw that promo.
Yeah, I never did either.
Yeah, I remember that promo.
You remember that, Blackson?
Yeah, I remember it. Yep.
Did he say Shaka Khan's tooth?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
It's
I remember
crazy.
that promo. Yeah, I remember that promo. I was about 13 when I saw that. Yeah, I remember that promo. Damn.
I mean, what's bewildering to me is that, okay, so Hulk Hogan's gimmick, his character, is the real American hero. Stand for the rights of every man. You know, why is he mocking his opponent? Why is he saying what he's saying? Like, it just isn't consistent with, I mean, we're talking about storytelling, we're talking about your gimmick. It just contrary to your gimmick. Like, he looks like the heel. He seems like he's the heel. I don't understand how he's a babyface on that one.
Yeah, it's a heelish thing to do. You know,
Very much so.
anytime you cut a promo mocking the opponent, that's usually designated for the heel. So you're right.
And the funny thing is that so we got Hulk Hogan. This is ridiculous. We got Hulk Hogan painted up, making a mockery of a Ugandan giant, which is, you know, so that's a black man. And then that man that's playing this gimmick isn't even from Uganda. So, like, there's just all this lunacy on top of lunacy going on here. We have a man acting like a Ugandan, and a man mocking that Ugandan that's being portrayed by a guy that's American. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. It's so, like, wrestling is just over the top, man.
Shaka Khan's tooth. I'm not understanding that, but okay.
Oh my God. So I just thought it was a very odd promo. And then, you know, it's almost close to blackface. It's not, but I mean, he's just painted up. Like, why is this babyface doing this? I just thought that was so weird.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, sign of the times, man. Like, the 80s was a wild time. You know what I mean? I'm glad I was, you know, basically a toddler. You know what I mean? Y'all was crazy as hell in the 80s.
it was crazy. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at this. This is a video with Gail Kim. She's being interviewed about her experience in WWE, and she talks about women wrestling. Let's just take a look at what she says. Of course, Gail Kim, she's from the Asian community, and we'll get her point of view now.
They've never seen women decide to walk out of WWE because they're dissatisfied. That was a shocking moment for a lot of the fans.
I think, I mean, that moment had built up for so long. It's just, after you're being treated over and over again, the women were always getting treated unfairly, having their time cut. We would go from a 6-minute match to literally a 2-minute match, and we could never have the time to connect to fans or tell our story.
You recently spoke out about some of the glass ceilings in at least WWE on the POC women and the POC talent in general. With your experience, what's your thought of how WWE is treating likes of Asuka, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane?
When I see these talented people like them get hired, I do worry for them because I just know what kind of talent they have, and it would make sense to utilize their talent to the utmost degree. I mean, that's how you make money, right? Yeah. To use someone to their best ability. I am worried about the stereotypes in the business because normally, and not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, you see a lot of the ethnic minorities being grouped together because they really don't know what else to do. And when I was there, they would always ask me, do you speak Korean? Do you speak Korean? I'm like, no, I didn't learn a language in the last 6 months. And so for me, I was like, are they trying to make me go into that stereotypical role? Because that's not me.
They've done that to other people.
Jumpy, beep, beep. Japanese is an abomination.
I don't know if we're ready for first base yet. Oh my goodness. What the?
Sorry. No speak English.
They have, and I'm just like, I would never be able to pull that off because I was born and raised in Canada, so I do worry about that. I hope that it does change, and I do think there's a lot of racism and stereotyping, but that's not an excuse for Vince or anything like that, but I think it's just ignorance. I think people with those kind of beliefs are raised that way, but it's a different world now, so I hope that he's listening and that he changes stuff.
And you see the culture is changing, right?
This is the thing. I think in his mind, he thinks that if he hires people of ethnicities that he's not racist, but it's not. It's more than that, and you know that. I truly believe that in his mind, he doesn't think someone of color could be his face of the company, which I disagree with. If you can connect to the audience in some way, you can be at the top.
What you think, MD?
Okay, with Gail Kim, so anybody that was watching wrestling at the time, like during the Diva era, Gail Kim stood out. She wasn't like, you know what I mean? She wasn't like the rest of the girls at that time. She could actually wrestle.
Right.
So I get where she's coming from. Again, we were just coming out of that attitude era where they didn't give a damn if you could wrestle or not. Like if you had a nice rack and an ass to look at, like you was in the ring. You know what I mean? When all of that started to die down during that ruthless aggression era, didn't nobody want to see women like that. So, in my opinion, she did the right thing by leaving and going to TNA and actually having a historic career in TNA. Wink, wink, Trevor. You know what I mean? But anyway, I get where she's coming from. Now, with the illusion of inclusion, now we're starting to see more women that actually have somewhat of a skill set be introduced more, even to the point where some people will argue that it's being overly exposed, as far as like women headlining WrestleManias and like people talking more about some of the women's matches more than any other matches. That's cool, but as a wrestling fan, you would think that you would want to like divide the two and separate the two. When I think about wrestling, I'm going to differentiate a women's match between a regular men's match. You know what I mean? Don't try to push something on me
So
You know,
you're saying to have like the women have their separate pay-per-views, kind of like
I
WNBA.
believe they should have their own brand. You know, you'll
Yeah,
give
me
more
too.
you'll give more exposure to
Yeah,
the women's roster, and you could create better angles that way. That's just my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
But hey, what do I know? You know what I mean?
Do you think the support is strong enough so that they're able to stand on their own? Because you look at the WNBA, they're not. They don't have the support after 20 some odd years. So do you think in WWE there's the roster is strong enough that they are able to stand on their own, have weekly television and live pay-per-views and be supported enough?
WWE got enough money to make it strong. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. Yeah, I agree.
So do what you got to do. I mean, is NXT strong enough to have its own show? I
No,
mean
good point.
that's an
That's a good point.
opinionative. Yeah, that's an opinionative question. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Well, that would be
me
interesting.
personally, I wouldn't say it is.
Mm.
Yeah, because you had something like Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and their little run, they did pretty. I thought they did pretty good. So, yeah, I
But I
think
don't think
WWE.
nobody took that serious. You know what I mean?
No, nobody took it
That that
serious,
that
but
was
you
that was
still,
more entertainment than anything.
yeah, but you still had ass in the seats when it came to, that. Even though it was like a slapstick thing, I think, I think they should step out on faith and do the women's. Like you said, it should be a whole different division, different writers. Yeah, and that way the women aren't pushed to the side and they can goddamn blossom with their talents and just build up. Yeah, I think it'll work.
Yeah, and kudos to TNA because they trusted Gail Kim enough to basically use her in creative too while she was
Mm.
wrestling. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they took a shot with Gail Kim, and like I said again, she created a great career in TNA doing so.
Right.
Like her feud with Awesome Kong was spectacular.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought women into it because I don't know if you got some more clips in regards to women. Going
No.
back to like the whole racism aspect of it. So Aja Kong is another great example. Aja Kong was ridiculed throughout her career in Japan.
Right.
But now she's an icon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Like
she's
Aja
great.
Kong, yeah, Aja Kong, like I said, she's mulatto. Hell, I don't even know if you would call her mulatto. I don't know what you call an Asian and a black. We'll just say Blasian.
Blasian, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ridiculed throughout her not only her career but her life. You know what I mean? To the point where she thought about quitting wrestling, even though that was her passion. She said,
Right.
they gave her the Aja Kong gimmick, and she thought it was a slap in the face. But she said, you know what? I'm a go through it. I'm a create a gimmick out of it. And now, when you think of women's wrestling in Japan, you think of Aja Kong. You know what I'm saying? Even to the point where she inspired a Black American wrestler to use that name Kong in respect to Aja Kong. I mean, that's iconic to me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a great point there, MD man. Yeah. Uh, with women, there's just so many suppressive things going on in the world of wrestling. With the women, we had the show on women, black wrestlers, Asian wrestlers, Latinos. They all face their hurdles, and these were not due to their limitations. These were limitations put on them. So they had to be Michael Jordan and some just to get on the bottom. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, it would be an interesting thing to see the women's wrestlers have their own TV show that comes on their own night. It would be interesting to have regular pay-per-views for women, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Of course, there's always going to be a comparison. Oh, Raw got X amount of viewers, the women's got less than half. They're always going to do that type of stuff. Oh, the pay-per-view only sold so many, and it pales in comparison. I think like it would be interesting if they were to do that, and then the women's will be included, like let's say WrestleMania. I think that's got to be shared by everybody. I would think, because you can't have like a women's WrestleMania. It's just WrestleMania. But it will be interesting to see that. Maybe the big four, seasonal pay-per-views: WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble. They could have women co-mingled on the card, but then like throughout the calendar year, it'll be men's, women's, men's, women's. I think that would be an interesting take. It'll be interesting to see if that would ever happen.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right. I think I have one last. Do I have one last video here? Oh, I got two videos remaining. I think I'm going to go into the. This is a 2020 video with Big E. His reaction when George Floyd was murdered. We're talking about the gimmicks. The gimmicks of wrestling, we're talking about the stereotypes of wrestling, and we're talking about racism in wrestling. We also mentioned about how those little subtle racist stereotypes that are in the product in wrestling can just reinforce these stereotypes to where we don't even get bothered by it. And when that happens, it leaves for other situations as we get older and in society in general, where things can be just accepted. We come to a point where we're seeing all these black people get killed on what seems to be a weekly basis, if not daily. And all these stories come out of this person. It's like, oh God, you get numb to it. Sometimes people just ignore it. They don't care. And then others are like, which was really ridiculous, when George Floyd got kneeled on his neck, there were multiple white people taking to social media, and they will have a friend kneel on their neck, and they're just laying on the lawn, mocking George Floyd's death, which is ridiculous. But what are the chances that those people, not only were they taught this in their household, in their school, in just the crowd that they were upbringing with, but in the media that they consume, the media that they watch, wrestling can easily be a part, re-emphasizing these stereotypes, making it okay where you don't see how detrimental it can be. And you have a nonchalant attitude towards these very serious things. So let's take a look back to 2020 when Big E was commenting on how he felt at the time with the George Floyd murder.
I am Big E. I think for me, one of the first things that came to my mind is that when I saw George Floyd on the ground be murdered, I see myself in George Floyd. When I hear Breonna Taylor's story, I see myself, I see my sisters, I see my aunts. I see us, like that could have been us, man, that could have been us. And it's something, I can't think of anything that's hit me like this. Anything that's really just, haven't been able to get this out of my mind. And it's really weighed heavy on me. I think it's been a hard few months for so many of us. And when Shad passed, when Hana Kimura passed, I kept imagining myself in the water. And for some reason, I just kept putting myself in Shad's position and not knowing, I don't know if he knew his son got to safety. I don't know what his last thoughts were when he died. What Hana, like the stuff that was going through her mind when she took her life, I just keep thinking, and I put myself in George Floyd's position when I saw him be murdered like that, and to have a man put his knee on his neck like that, man. And I don't know how you don't feel empathy for a man like that who's accused of passing a counterfeit $20 bill, man. He didn't deserve to die like that. We cannot be okay with murdering us. You just can't be okay with it because it's not the first time and it's not the second time. And we've seen it. And like I said, man, I've seen and heard these stories from my parents and their parents before them. And I cannot accept living in a country where this is acceptable, where it takes 2 days to get an arrest for this man. 2 days there was videotape, there was clear as day. That bothers me, that hurts me to my very core, to my soul. That this is what it took of 2 days of anger and frustration, and people saying that this has to be enough. How long can we allow this to happen? Just imagine a man having his body weight, his knee on your neck until you die, and you're calling for your mom, man. He had no one. What was he supposed to do? So that I can't stop with so many of these people that we're losing. I can't stop imagining myself in their shoes, in that position of, this man had a daughter, he had people who loved him. He had people who cared about him. Same thing with Ahmaud Arbery. Like we just can't we can't just shrug how long are we supposed to shrug our shoulders and say, damn, and move on about our day? So it's something that really, it hit me in my chest, and it kept hitting me in my chest, and it kept weighing on me. I don't know if it's meant to change hearts or to preach. I don't know what it is, but maybe I just need this for me. Maybe I just need to have a conversation for me to not just bottle it up or send some tweets, but to actually just to talk, to have a conversation. Maybe this is just for me. Maybe it's for no one else. Maybe it's for me, but it's weighed heavy on me, man. It's just weighed real heavy on me. So that's kind of what's just been in my mind this last week and change.
All right, so that's Big E's commentary on how he felt, his feelings on the George Floyd time period. It's about a week out from the murder, and he just expressed his view on that. But the saddest thing is that that was 3 years ago, and since then we've had a whole slew of police killing of black men, black people in general, and it's just no sign of it ever derailing. And cowards in Congress will not enact any kind of legislation to help the situation. But what are we viewpoints on what we just heard there from Biggie?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I get his empathy. It's hard for me to call it where he's sympathizing of the situation, again, because when I think of stuff like that, I always think about it politically. And again, until we can see a change in policy, these things are going to continue to be highlighted in the media. If I was in his position, I would have focused more on that. But I got to play bad guy. I'm sorry, Venkat, I got to do it.
Good.
He said some things in his post, and like I said, I'm not going to take away anything that he said because it came from the heart.
Right.
But it's hard for Big E to understand. Big E around the same age I am.
Right.
It's hard for him to understand the plight historically because he's of Jamaican descent. Now, that's not to take. Now again, I'm not taking away anything that he said because it's all true.
Right.
But if you're looking at it from a political perspective, he cannot have a viewpoint or such a perspective from a political standpoint in order to qualify any change in what's going on. As a quote unquote black person, yeah, you got all the right to say something about it. But from a political standpoint, if you don't understand what the implication is and what the reality is, then I don't necessarily look for you to come up with a solution. You know what I mean? Because you can't visualize a solution because it ain't your reality.
So
So
when
go ahead.
you say, okay, I just wanted to say, so when you say that though, I don't know Big E's whole history, so I don't know if he came to America
No, he
or
was
did he.
born. I believe he was born here. He was born in
Okay,
Florida.
so right, okay, so even better, even better. So he was born here, he grew up here, raised here, went to school, socialized, was amongst people here. So even though his lineage is back with Jamaica, he does have a very crystal clear picture and understanding of the plight because he's right there. He's right
I
there.
agree. I agree, but he doesn't have an understanding politically. He has an
Well,
understand he has an
well,
understanding from a cultural viewpoint, which is fine. I'm not taking away, just like you or Trevor would have. Y'all
right,
grew up
right.
black. You know what I mean? I'm not taking that away from y'all.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, but politically, we don't even know his political involvement or aspirations. I mean, it could
Well,
be, and he's just not letting us know that he's
you're
very
right.
heavily involved. He could be heavily involved and understands, what's going on, but it just depends.
So okay. So with that being said, if let's be hypothetical and say he is politically involved. Would
Right?
his political involvement be for the rights of black people, or would his political involvement be on behalf of the plight of black people that suffered and created this emasculated culture of the media showing death of black people?
Mm. No, I think it would be that. I think it would be on behalf of him witnessing the constant death. I mean, it's really a phenomenon, really. And I don't know if it's because Ice Cube has always said, rap is like the news, and rappers have been talking about this crap forever, and it was ignored and belittled because it was rap. But I've always heard, all the stuff about police and the way they do. I've never had a good interaction with a police officer for the most part. Like when I have a good interaction, it's because like, oh, they're at the airport or, in a venue or in a situation where
Right. Yeah.
they know that nothing's gonna be crazy. But like in regular, like in the neighborhood, like I've never had a positive interaction. I remember one day, me, Trevor, my brother, and a friend of ours, Rashid, was walking to the park like we do every day. We did that every day. And this cop on a bike went all the way around, did a U-turn. Rashid, a friend of mine, who's also from St. Thomas Virgin House, he was flexing his muscle. And the cop turned all the way around, came up, looked dead at him, and said, "You think you bad? You think you're big? You think you're strong? Better watch yourself." And then he drove off. Like he took the time out of his busy day of crime busting to
Right.
like kind of like put the hammer down on some kids that are just going to play basketball. It's just outrageous stuff. I've never had a positive interaction. I could just go on for days about police officers. It's ridiculous. But these cops, that's the legacy they've earned. So they're saying, hey, they're attacking the police. They're attacking the police. But you've been killing black people forever, black men especially. It's very shocking when I wish I had the video. I saw a video where this happened probably like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. there was police and there was some white supremacists outside, and they're like standing there, and the cop is right in front of them. He puts up the white supremacist sign, the white people sign, whatever the hell that crap is. And then the guy that's a white supremacist, which I don't know how he can be a white supremacist when he has a gut, for one, and he looks horrible. But I don't think he's like has the genes of The Rock or whatever. But so he's like, haha, yeah, he's with us. He's with us. He knows what it is. As he's holding up the white supremacist sign, that guy is a cop, and that's the other issue. We keep talking about police as protectors and the service of the community, but there's a time, and there still is a time, where a lot of racist and white supremacist people automatically go into policing to be able to enforce and inflict their influence on a certain community. So the balance isn't there, but it's just a ridiculous situation seen day after day, month after month, year after year. All these black people, all these black men being slaughtered and killed. The Trayvon thing should have been enough. That should have been the end of it, but it's been forever. Mike Brown and the Can't Breathe and all this nonsense that we've witnessed. And we get these little moments of outrage, and then it just goes back. It's like whatever. It's like with the mass shootings. It's like, oh, it happened again, and then we just go back to whatever we're doing. And it's like until it hits you personally, it is not an issue. And I find that to be a very backwards way of thinking, because I think we should all be able to live in a safe and productive society. And I don't think I should be sitting here waiting, okay, when is my turn going to come? If I go to a movie theater, if I go to the bank, if I go to the grocery store, boom, it can happen right then and there. So I just went on a tangent on that, but I just think that, yes, Big E would be able to experience it. Like, again, I'm from the United States Virgin Islands, but I've had plenty of instances in my life that I've seen myself or that has happened to me that I thoroughly understand what is going on here. And I'm sure Big E has the same experience as well. I don't think there's a lot of commonalities. Yeah, we're different, but we're the same. And you can say white and black is different. And then when you define black is split into so many different, there's Jamaicans, there's Haitians, there's Africans, and the way we look at each other is different. Like the Africans will be like, well, you're not authentic because you're an African-American, you're not an African, and all these categorizations that are just ridiculous. Then you go into Africa, well, you're from this area from Africa, and I'm from this area. Then you go into that area, and then you look at that tribe, and oh, you're Hutu, and I'm Tutsi, and the Rwanda genocide, and all this lunacy because we're categorizing everything and not seeing what is the same with us instead of what is different. So I think that's why we're constantly making steps backwards, and we're never going to move forward because we're so obsessed with the differences and the labels. And meanwhile, the key thing that's killing us all is standing right there, and we weren't even paying attention to it because we were busy quarreling with ourselves. What do you think, MJ?
Fat Cat, you dark side, man.
That's dark side?
Yeah, that's dark side. Hey, Black Star, he just called us Wazungu.
Yep, Wazungu.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Oh man, that's fun. But yeah, I get what you're saying. No doubt. Just because the color of our skin, we gonna face bigotry and racism all day. I don't question that. Well, I see the differences politically. That's all I've ever said. I've never said that we don't share the same plight in result of a cultural decimation of us in totality. I've never said that.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that the solution is going to have to come through policy, and policy can only get changed when you specify a certain group. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But
Right.
that doesn't mean that you can't participate in that. That that's not what that means. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 All right. I get what you're saying, and I mean it's not bad what you're saying per se, because you're trying to get an objective done, and yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it.
At the end of the day, it's gonna benefit all the black people that's in America.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that.
Yeah. All right. So
You say you got one more?
yeah, one more, but it's the clip for yeah, I took the video part of it out and I got it as audio. The Mark Henry thing, since it was cut out on the last show. You think I should put it through?
I mean, I don't have no problem. Blackson. I mean, it's ultimately up to Blackson. You know. I think
yeah,
just the audio. I think just the audio
yeah.
should be fine.
Yeah, the audio shouldn't hurt. Yeah. I don't know. Vlad's not that damn. I hope not. Yeah, we'll just run it and then.
I told you I hate Vlad, man. I don't take anything from Vlad from damn trying to flag somebody's shit down.
Yeah.
Right. yeah. Vlad. Yeah. I mean, in that when I played that video the last time, Mark Henry called him out on the sensationalism, and he's trying to talk to Mark Henry about a issue that had nothing to do with Mark Henry, which was the video I played earlier with Jim Cornette with the bucket of chicken. I guess
he didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
Right. It was poor research, but again, it's because it's wrestling, so he doesn't care. So he just found a sensational thing, and then he just put it on Mark Henry like that. But that was silly. All right, so I'm gonna play this last video, and we'll give our final thoughts on that. And here we go.
Now, right around 2003, you come back to WWE under the Raw roster, and you were part of a crew called Thuggin' and Buggin' Enterprises. And there was a storyline in there where basically you guys felt you were victims of racism and being held down by the white man. When you look at this through a 2020 lens, what do you think about it?
You know what? I look at it as a storyline. It was something that was prevalent, and it's still prevalent. There'll always be biases. There'll always be prejudice. There'll always be racism. It's how you deal with it. On a TV show, you can fight people and beat people up for it. In the real world, you have to be able to create policies that change who's in power and change the racism, change the prejudice from that standpoint. That's what I've done. I've done my best to, anytime that there was something that dealt remotely with racism, whether it be in strength world, pro wrestling, entertainment, in my private life, I make it noted. I'm not going to have it. And there's only room enough for right. And if I'm right, that means your ass got to go.
Well, there was a storyline at one point. I guess it was a silverback gorilla type thing.
Which I didn't like, and which I said to the writers, you will not refer to this black man as a silverback. I am not a primate.
And they took it out.
And the shit stopped.
All right, that was Mark Henry talking about WWE using a gimmick that they came up with of calling him the silverback gorilla. As a black man, they wanted a gimmick of the silverback gorilla as Mark Henry's gimmick. What are our thoughts on the silverback gorilla?
Yeah, so like I said last week, truly, honestly, if Vince wanted him to go out as a damn silverback gorilla, that's what he would have did. I think it may have been a result of him just egging it on, and Vince just finally went with it. But I mean, Mark Henry said some things that were troubling to me in that interview. First off, he said that, in the real world, you create policy that get the people out of power. Mark Henry don't. What has Mark Henry done as far as politics in the back in order to gain any type of control? He hasn't done anything. So first of all, that was a lie.
But he did stand up and say, "Hey, I don't want to be the silverback gorilla." That's one instance of him.
That's what he's saying. But if we know Vince, and if we know a lot of the other things that Mark Henry has done, I don't think that's the case. I think it may have been the case of him, like, just continuously getting on Vince about it, where eventually Vince just canned it, and Vince was probably so irritated to the point where he was like, you know what, just forget it. You know what I mean? I don't think that story is true. That's just me doing speculation, because I know, and Vince's order of business. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that yeah, he can say one thing, but I'm not gonna believe it. You know what I mean? So I think ultimately he would have, if it came push come to shove, your ass was going out there as a gorilla.
FD is cold with it. There's a movie, a documentary. What was it called? Oh my god, I lost the name of it. It was a wrestling documentary back in '99, 2000. They documented mainly WWE. They covered a little tiny bit of WCW at the time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe I
forget the name
forgot
of it
the name.
myself.
Right. So in that documentary, there's a spot with Vince McMahon going over a new gimmick with a wrestler, and I guess he asked the guy, "Hey, so what can you do? What is like a special talent or characteristic that you have that we could base a new character on?" The guy said, "Well, I can puke on command," and then he's like, "Oh, I kind of like that." And then he's like, "Let's try a promo now." And then he's like, "Oh my God, he's gonna puke!" And it's like the animation in Vince McMahon's face as he's like having this guy puke on command for him. It's like he'll take any kind of wild idea and just run with it. Just run with it. And it's just lunacy to see it in action. An actual session of him like hashing out a new gimmick. And like most people would be like, "Well, we can't use that. That's just nonsense." But he would go with it. So it doesn't surprise me he would try to make Mark Henry a silverback gorilla. And I do think that Mark Henry would stand up to Vince McMahon. I don't think Mark Henry would cower like a lot of these. Like the blackface video that I played earlier. The lady talked about, in those times, they had to work and they really didn't have much options or recourse to push back. It was either that or you didn't get any kind of work. So they just conformed and just, held their nose and did what they had to do just so that they can get paid for the day. But I think that Mark Henry, because he also said in the interview, I cut out a lot of parts of that interview, but he said in the interview that he left WWE before. He came in originally, then he left, went into the bodybuilding, weightlifting circuit, did that for a little bit, then came back, and that's when that whole Mark Henry's World's Strongest Man thing came to be. So I think that he has enough within him. I think that he would push back. I also think that Mark Henry is like one of the more loyal to Vince McMahon as well too. For some reason, he really embraces Vince McMahon. I remember one time somebody asked him, "Is pro wrestling essential?" Like, because the pandemic was going on, so we should only have essential things functioning while the pandemic is going. Obviously, like hospitals or supermarkets, stuff of that nature. And they asked, "Do you really think that it's because WWE based out in Florida said, well, they're essential, which is just entertainment, but for some reason they're going under the moniker of being essential so that they can operate. And so they asked Mark Henry, do you believe that the WWE is essential? So he kind of like smirked and he's like, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, it is essential, because he didn't want to cross Vince McMahon, I guess. But he's one of the more loyal ones, to be honest. What do you think about the silverback gorilla, Black Sun?
Yeah, I think it's outrageous. Yeah, I think I will agree with MD on it. I'm a little skeptical, but yeah, I mean, just face value. Yeah, it's not cool. It's just some corniness.
Well, you would think that they would have died in the brain, like when it came up in your mind. No, that would be unreasonable. Yeah, but no, they ran with it and they tried to pull it. So I don't know. So well, towards the end of the show here, so just want to comment real quick. We didn't have Trevor tonight. It's the first show we never had Trevor. So unfortunate we didn't have Trevor, but I invited EJ Boxing Live, who a few weeks ago he was on the show. He was talking about wrestling with us. Seemed like it was pretty good. But then Trevor saw EJ on a live on someone else's channel. I don't even know all these names. I don't know all the storylines and the backstory, but saw him on the channel, which is a person that is known for bashing the arena, known for bashing Trevor. And he was up there on that show live and just having a good old time there after doing the Wrestling Wednesday show. So then you fast forward a week and, we come on and we did a little promo and Trevor did his rebuttal to it and he explained, what had happened. So today, Black Sun Truck Show, we had EJ come on, and EJ responded saying that he did not know who Trevor was, and he did not bash anybody. He was just talking about something from the perspective of a Jamaican, that's what he was. So I guess after he left the show, when he was on that show, the person, I don't remember her name, but that always bashes Arena, she went on a tangent of just bashing Jamaicans and whatnot. But he was not co-signing, I guess, what she's saying. He was just appearing on a show. And that brings up another interesting topic as far as like members of the Arena going on another show talking, or, are we looking at it as them co-signing that person's show, or are we looking at it as that person being an individual, being on the show, giving their perspective, and then leaving and not having any attachment to the source material? So I just wanted to put that out there. I don't know the status of Trevor as far as like where he's at. I haven't talked to him in a few hours. I was hoping and I anticipated him to be on here, but I guess he's not. And that's kind of disappointing. But there's a bit of I don't know, a dark cloud, a dark side here that we just have a lot of friction, and it's like friction after friction. And I was hoping that tonight on Wrestling Wednesday, we could have that dialogue. Unfortunately, EJ in the chat said that he was busy at this time of the show, so he couldn't be on this show. Hopefully, at some point, he will be able to come on, and we can have him and Trevor talk and hash that out. I'm just pretty much summarizing what has happened. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just heard some music come on. I'm just summarizing what has happened so far, generally where we're at and kind of why. I don't have all the information as to everything that's going on, but I have a basic summarization of what's going on. But I just want this to be killed already, and I wish that we could have that dialogue as soon as possible. Because when you listen to EJ, he sounds genuine, but then there was some things that sound kind of iffy. So I don't know. But I don't like to jump to conclusion too much unless you force me to have to. If you're not saying anything in front of me or whatever, so I all I can do is speculate at that point.
All right. Hey, real quick, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So after y'all did that stream this morning, did you talk to after?
Hello?
Yeah, he said, "Do you talk to Trevor after the yeah?"
No, I didn't actually talk to Trevor on the phone or anything. I think Trevor sent a text, and I sent the text back, but I don't recall. We didn't talk about anything. Last time I talked to Trevor actually on the phone was like yesterday or 2 days ago, something like that. It was, but I haven't talked to him on the phone at all, so I haven't had an actual real conversation with him yet.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. Do I sound all right? Or
Yeah,
am I breaking up?
No, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
No,
So
you sound good.
Okay, all right. So to address that certain point, speaking for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe speaking for especially you, Van Cat, because you don't know what the hell you don't know what
No,
the
I
hell's
know.
going on.
I know.
But speaking for Black Sun as well, we didn't have any context as to what the dude EJ said on Nandy's channel. Like I said, I didn't see that live stream. As a matter of fact, you had to get me up to speed as far as what had taken place. Like I didn't know what the hell you was talking about when you start talking about that stuff last week. So from that aspect, I understand your point. Only you know what was said because you were in the chat when the stream was going on.
Yeah.
With all of that being said, do I think it's something that needs to be taken so serious where that you are? And like I said, I don't know the situation. Maybe you had something going on tonight. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate as to why. But if that was part of the cause, I don't think that's a good look. I think if you could reach out to Van Cat or Black Sun. We can set something up and we don't have to live stream this. We can get on the back chat and talk. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if it's any point of contention on any part of the spectrum, let us know so we can get it squared away.
Yeah.
I thought we were moving past when you talked about it last week. I didn't know unless something else happened. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the other thing that happened was him being on the show today, EJ, and him giving his perspective on him not even knowing who Trevor was, didn't know that there was any beef between them. Now again, Trevor heard him say what he said, but EJ said that he was just on there to say one little quick thing because he is Jamaican, and she was talking about being negative things about Jamaica. I guess it got really negative after he got off the call, but he wasn't co-signing that. He just appeared, I understand
I heard that part. Yeah, I heard.
Now we understand that part now, but I could see Trevor. I could see myself seeing him on there. And I would say the same thing Trevor said. I would see it the same way he sees it. You were just on our show, and now you're on a platform with a person that's known for taking shots at the arena, that's known for taking shots at Trevor. So I see how it looks.
I get it. So, but when it comes to Wrestling Wednesday, like we ain't doing that on Wrestling Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you felt like that you were trying to back away from some type of point of contention, Wrestling Wednesday wasn't the place to do it. That's just what I'm saying. Now, and like I said,
Yeah, I
I
get
don't
that.
know Trevor. I don't know Trevor's situation. Maybe he had something
Yeah, I
going
don't.
on tonight. I honestly don't know, and
Yeah,
I honestly don't know the context of where the point of contention is with Trevor, because again, he had to tell me what had taken place. But in regards to that, I don't all the other stuff that's been going on as of late. Like, bro, like I would suggest to Trevor, like, bro, like your content is great. Straight Talk Sessions is, to me, is the firest show like on the arena right now, because you deal from
yeah,
you deal with a whole different topic, and you bring the females into it. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Oh
like,
yeah.
bro, like
Yeah, it is. It is.
don't let the bullshit dictate your position on the channel. That's all I'm saying.
Right, right, right. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And the reason I get what you're saying, MD, as far as like Wrestling Wednesdays may not be the place, but it kind of is once it starts affecting Wrestling Wednesdays. Again, like I said, I don't know the full reason why Trevor is not here right now. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if that's some of the reasons why. Also, I invited EJ to come on tonight. He says that he's busy. I guess with working out or something. Even though he was here a few weeks ago, but I'm not gonna say he can't make it or can or whatever. But I'm just saying I would just like to just have a definitive. This happened. This happened. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Over. You know what I mean? And that's what I was hoping that we could get to that
Yeah,
point.
yeah, that's what I was hoping too, because like I said, and I didn't. I mean, I suspected that EJ was Jamaican, because I mean that's the history. A lot of people don't know that you have a lot of Jamaican, even when they went independent, you have people back and forth going to England from Jamaica. So I suspected that he was Jamaican. So when he said that, it made sense. I said, okay, he's Jamaican. So then when he said his side of the story, I was like, okay, this got to be it's just a misunderstanding. But the best way to resolve it, like I said, just to have both on that there at the same time, and then they both tell the stories. And I think it would have cleared them up if they were both here. I think that would have cleared it up. But I mean, because I couldn't hear Trevor. He was in and out, and then when EJ jumped on, he showed his side
Good
of the
point,
story.
Blackson. Good point there. That is a huge point, because when he was on your show earlier, it was an in and out thing,
Yeah,
so it wasn't clear what was being said, and
not at
you
all.
couldn't get to you couldn't get to a full understanding. That's kind of the reason why I popped up to
Yeah,
kind of like interpret what I
yeah,
believe he was saying and stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That was
and
right on time.
this is a Wrestling Wednesday storyline. To be honest, this whole thing started at Wrestling Wednesday when EJ came on, and again,
Yeah,
we thought everything was good, and that episode of that show was great. Actually, he brought a nice energy to the show. But then, like I said, when Trevor saw that activity, I mean, I totally get why Trevor feels the way he feels like that. But according to what EJ said today, it kind of changes the storyline a little bit,
yeah, yeah. It changed
and
the whole
now it looks
narrative.
more like a misunderstanding. So I
Yeah,
just wanted to address it. I hate when there's a problem and then we just like stay there like it's nothing going on, and all it's gonna do is just fester and fester. And that's the punk way to do things, man. Address things head on and move on, whether it's good or bad. I don't want to be that guy that, oh man, I'm gonna beat you up after school. I'm gonna beat you up at 3 o'clock. Beat you up, and then like every hour on the hour, beat you up at 3 o'clock. Like I don't want to hear that crap. Pop him in the face right then and there, so that I know, am I getting beat up or am I beating somebody up? I don't need to spend another 8 hours worrying about a fight. Let's do it right now, and now it'll be over with, and I can move on with myself. I don't need to think about or worry about anything. I'm gonna make it go down right then and there, and that's how I approach things.
Right. And again, I'm trying to come from your perspective, because Van Cat, you put a lot of time and energy into this shit. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, bro, like, I don't want it to be in vain on your behalf. You know what I mean? And with Trevor not here, that's how I kind of feel. If it's something to do with that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's all I was saying. Like I said, I don't know. You don't know, and that's a personal friend to you. So if you don't know, I sure as hell don't know. So again, I hope the brother cool. I don't know exactly what he got going on tonight, but if that situation is one of the reasons that you weren't here tonight, like I got to look side-eyed at that. You know what I mean? Because I would think that as you, Van Cat, being a close friend to Trevor, that he could at least like get situated on your behalf as far as Wrestling Wednesday, because like the messy shit we don't do on Wrestling Wednesday. Wrestling Wednesdays is structured. You got clips and all type of shit going on. Let's just focus on that. Then you can address the bullshit. I get it, but Wrestling Wednesdays I would think would be priority as far as like live streams and stuff. But again, I don't know the situation. So I'm not speculating.
Right.
That's why they would.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they would both have to be here to really, like I said, just get a clarity. Because, like I said, Trevor was breaking up, and then EJ. Like I said, I understand bits and pieces of what Trevor was saying about EJ being on that other show, but again, I don't go to that other show, so I can't really. That's why I would want Trevor here, because I don't know what's going on that other show.
Ultimately, Trevor know what he said. Like, we don't know, but Trevor was in the damn chat, so he know what EJ said. So really, all this shit could be bullshit. EJ could have came on this morning and bullshitted all of us, because again, Trevor was in that chat, so Trevor knew what he said.
Right.
And my perception was that he was talking shit about Trevor, because that's the way Trevor put it.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right. Well, I just wanted to address it at some level. I can't get it done the way I would have liked it to be, but maybe both parties can hear this show either now or later, and then maybe that will help to get it to a place maybe later on a different show, and this could be resolved, because there's future shows. So this is a great show tonight as well. I do appreciate both of you for being on here, man. It's tremendous asset and help for the show. Next week the show is going to be about the greatest promos. This is the show where we're actually going to listen to clips of some of the greatest promos in professional wrestling history by some of the greatest professional wrestlers and talkers in history. So this is a show I've been wanting to do for a while. And then there'll be another show probably either after that or after the next one, where we're going to focus on like the real aspects of wrestling, like the injuries and all the things that we don't focus on. And for those people that like to say, oh, it's fake, and not realizing that gravity is not fake.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yep. That's right.
So that's going to be a special show that a lot of haters of wrestling that don't respect the craft, maybe they could get something out of that show. And anybody, Black Sun, MD, any other things we'd like to add before we sign out?
Yeah, not only.
Go ahead, Black Sun. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, not only those gravity not fake, but when jumping off them ladders aren't fake either, man. You talking about it's like 6-foot ladders and shit. I mean, goddamn, some of them. I think, and it's funny we talk about Jim Cornette. He broke his ankle on the scalpel match.
Yes. Yeah. Skywalker match. Yep. Starcade.
Yep. Starcade. Yep. So that's all I got to say. Yep.
No, good show tonight, man. Like I said, despite Trevor not being here and giving giving his expertise. Great show. As far as focusing on some of the stereotypes and uh, bad bad angles in terms of just being outright
Gimmicks.
racist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, another great show, man. Like I said, I love Wrestle Wednesdays, man.
Yeah, me
We
too.
appreciate it. Appreciate it, MD. All right, so we'll check everyone next week. We have what are the lineups we have? Are you gonna do a truck show tomorrow, Blackson?
Yeah, I might do one tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Yeah. I'll do one. Shoot, probably around.
Yeah, I actually I was thinking about doing a show. I wanted to pose the question.
Yep.
So my probably not now because I focus more on putting stuff together for this channel, but a lot of times I'm on Twitter. Like that's my main go-to.
Okay.
But I'm seeing a paradigm shift in Twitter. So I want to pose a question: is Twitter becoming the new Stormfront? If anybody know what Stormfront is, that was like in the mid '90s. It was real big forum, like white supremacist forum. And I'm seeing with the advent of like Dilbert and Ben Stein and other people just flat out being overtly racist on Twitter now. I'm posing the question: is Twitter becoming the new Stormfront with the advent of Elon Musk? So I may do that tomorrow.
Oh, shit, that sounds good right there. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a different flavor.
And MD, what about you have that series and you did a great show the other night. When is there gonna be another episode to that series?
OES series. It'll either be Saturday or Sunday, depending on what. Well, this coming up Saturday is the debate. That's Rio and Trevor. Damn, I forgot all about that.
Oh wait, hold on. Hold that thought. Let's just watch this real quick.
Fuck JC. What's up, niggas? Hey, yo, I know you ain't talking about me, dog. You? What? Fuck JC. You been on my dick, nigga. You love my style, nigga. Fuck JC. Fuck with your soul like ether. Teach you the king, you know you. Godson across the belly. I prove you lost already. Brace yourself. For the main event, y'all impatiently waiting. It's like an AIDS test. What's the results? Not positive. Who's the best? Pac, Nas, and Big. Ain't no best. East, west, north, south, flossed out greetings. I embrace y'all with napalm. Blows up, no guts. Left chest, face gone. Two, three. 4. Season 5.
Thoughts on the upcoming debate this Saturday?
That promo is fire. That's probably the fireest promo you ever made, Van Cat.
Good promo.
That made me want to debate. You know what I'm saying? I honestly had forgot all about Trevor debating Saturday. So volume 3 of the OES series will probably be Sunday because I don't want to have to. I'm gonna work on it Saturday, but I don't want it to
Take
overlap
away.
with from Trevor debate. So yeah, it'll probably end up being Sunday. Probably Sunday evening. Because I don't know if Nature Mom is gonna be on Sunday morning. So
No, Nature Mom, my niece, she has to do like some special tutoring because she's having issues. So, Nature Mom gonna be, her Saturdays and Sundays are booked up for a couple of weeks until.
Okay, so she AWOL right now.
Yeah. Because my niece is, she's having issues in school, so she has to get her back on track with that. So it's gonna take a couple of weeks.
So yeah. So with that being said, OES Volume 3, Black Codes and Lost Cause. It'll probably end up being Sunday, maybe around 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. All right. Anything else, Blackson?
No, that's it. Great show, man.
All right. I appreciate you guys once again. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
I
anyway,
guess shouts out to Yanga. I'm actually about to go over there when we get off. I think Yanga got a live stream supposedly with Lex tonight. So I'm actually eagerly awaiting that live stream. I want to see what's up with that. So I'll be over there.
well,
After that.
what channel is that on? I don't watch any of these things. I don't know anything about that.
It's oh damn, there go Trevor right
Oh,
there.
no, Trevor's right there. Yep.
Huh? Oh, what's going on, Trevor?
What's up?
All right.
All right. So
Floor is yours. The floor is yours.
So I've been listening to the show because, like I say, I genuinely support the arena. That's nothing. Nothing has ever changed about that. So I'm gonna always support the shows. I may not agree with every direction and everything, but I'll always support the show. So here's the long and short of it, because now you guys can actually hear me. After I basically let EJ come on the panel and take over our show, just rambling, and I just let him have his time because he seemed like he was very interested. And I'm like, okay, this type of energy may be well needed. Then the next day I see this big ass Jamaican flag on YouTube with my name in the title. So naturally I'm going to click on it. And it bothered me that the first person I see in the chat is like, I'm in the back, let me up. And it says Boxer EJ. I'm like, man, you can't be serious. I'm like, dude, I've never seen you anywhere on YouTube. And now, ironically, you were on our show last night. And then the next day, you're on a show that's getting ready to blast me. So naturally, when I see that, I'm like, let me stick around. Now, there was a lot of connection issues because she was going off. And he was, he was just like, it's not what he said. It's the fact that he didn't deny anything. So when she's like, my wife and daughter's around, so I'm not going to curse, but when she's like, those P niggas over there and this and that, right then and there, if somebody was having an issue, if I was on the panel and somebody started talking about Blackson, I would have been like, hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Or I would have absolved myself real quick from it. I mean, naturally, I probably would have just left the panel, but that's just me. So the fact that he's talking about all he came up there to do was talk about Jamaica, no, you planned to come up there and aid in the bashing. Now, granted, I didn't stick around. I missed a good portion, and when I came back, I guess he was gone because I was trying to get on the panel with her, but she told me I couldn't get on the panel until she was done teaching. It's just the fact that he was over there, and then to make matters worse, he pops up today. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening. I'm like, damn, because I legit been taking time off of YouTube. I'm trying to get ready for my debate. I don't want to, it's just too much going on. So I'm just sitting there and I see him come on, and the first thing comes out of his mouth, oh, what's going on with you and Yanga? What's going on with MD and Angel? I'm like, bro, it's like you literally coming around here just to try to start stuff. And I'm like, am I the only one who sees all of this? And he just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I may have overreacted, but he rubs me the wrong way because to me, I feel like he's the ops. He only comes around during opportunistic times. He only brings up issues that's been going on in the arena. Nobody was talking about Yanga and Blackson's issue a week or so ago. Why he had to bring it up without it even being warranted? That's my issue. But here's even the bigger thing, and I apologize to Venkat because, like I say, me and Venkat are really friends. And I told him that I'd be on the show today. The reason I wasn't on the show is because if I'm going to come on the show, I need to come on the show and be myself. I'm not going to come on a show where I feel some type of way, because you're not going to get my full, you're not going to get my full me. And you'd be able to tell. Like, I listened to the whole show. Tonight's show was better without me, because had I been on there, I would have been short on all my answers. It wouldn't have been because, like, I feel some type of way. Like, we're not. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, man. But I'm like, man, this guy could just come over here and, oh yeah, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Oh yeah, but tell me about you and Yanga. Like, y'all can't see the obvious plays that's going on. Like, that stuff bothers me to no end. So, again, I apologize to Venkat, like I say, because, like, Venkat is my real friend since we were kids. He even told a story earlier that I forgot about with the cop. I totally forgot about that. But, so I apologize for not, for not being there for him, because I know he leans on me for a lot of the current stuff. But I'm just saying, like, I'm ready to. So here's my thing. I am gonna, just because I mean it's too much stuff going on right now. Like, it's too much. I'm truthful when I say I'm not into the drama. I'm not, man. It's too much going on. My daughter told me the other day, and this is the biggest thing. It hurt me to my heart when my daughter told me. She said, whenever you go on the arena, you change. Like, you turn into a different person. And that shit hurt me to my heart, man, because she's like, you're always on there. And when it's supposed to be our time, you're on there. So I promised her yesterday that, you know what? I'm going to back away. And I mean that. I'm not, I know the wrestling show is Venkat's baby. I know that. Like, he puts a lot of time and energy in it, and I do a disservice to our friendship by not supporting him for that. So I'll be there for the Wrestling Wednesday shows. But as far as everything else, I'm just going to fall back, man. I'm giving too much time and effort to this. And I believe what the hell was the word I guess? I meant what I said earlier, Blackson, when I said how I feel about you and Yanga. I look at y'all as big bros, and I look at MD as a little big, as a big little bro. But I think sometimes we just get too involved in too much bullshit. And for me to have my little girl tell me that she sees a change in me, kids are innocent. And when kids just come out of the blue and say stuff like that, you got to take heed in that. So that's where I am right now. Like I say, I'm Team Arena, but I have to be Team Family first. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I listen. I'm always listening. I hear everything. I mean, I may not interact or anything, but I got to do what I got to do, man, because I can't lose myself, and I'm getting too lost and caught up in this YouTube shit. So it ain't that I'm not weak or nothing like that. I even heard that earlier today. Like come on, man, that's crazy. But I realized that I said it once and I said it again. YouTube is not my life. I could leave YouTube today and never have to look back. I enjoy YouTube. I enjoy our conversations. I enjoy coming over here. I spend so much time on the arena. Like, I don't even watch. I got a watch list that's like a mile long because I don't watch any other shows anymore. All I do is arena stuff. And I'm realizing that I'm getting too consumed in arena that I'm forgetting about my other stuff. I'm forgetting about my other brand that I'm trying to build. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I say, I'm Team Arena, man. I'll still be rooting y'all on in the debates and stuff. Can't wait till you come in, MD, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna clash. But as for right now, I'm stepping back. I can't. It's too much. It's consuming me too much now. And again, I apologize for tonight, but when I come on these wrestling shows, I bring like a certain energy. And the energy that I was going to bring tonight was going to crash the show to a halt. And I'd rather not be on it and just support y'all in the clouds than to come on and drag the show down that my brother basically put so much hard work in. And that's all I got to say about that. So again, like I said earlier, I'll see you guys on Saturday.
Okay. We appreciate you coming on, Trevor. Like I said, your voice is super valuable, and your perspective and everything else. As far as apologizing to me in the show, not necessary. I totally get where you're coming from. I totally understand your plight and your position. So there ain't nothing hard or bad or anything between us or anything like that. I totally get it. So you take your time. You take as much time as you need, because you're right. It's not gonna be right if you're not feeling right about it. So I appreciate you nonetheless, man. Watching from the clouds, I'm good.
Yeah, and I want to say, yeah, I'm glad you came, Trevor, and this speaks volumes because I wanted to give EJ a chance to come too.
Somebody talking?
Hello? Oh, Blackson. Blackson probably got Blackson lost his connection.
Yeah, I lost mine too. Can I be heard now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, peace, Trevor. Hey, I totally get it. I understand. My whole thing was like I said, your connection with you and Vancat. I didn't know like what you had going on. I didn't know what type of correspondence that y'all had, or if any. You know what I mean? I was just concerned about that. Like I said, it was almost like Vancat didn't know what the hell was going on. So I'm glad that you cleared that up, and that's cool. Like you've always been saying that you want to keep away from the bullshit. I get it. You know what I mean? Wrestling Wednesdays, we tend not to speak on shit like that, and that's fine. Like the whole thing with the beef, you know what I mean? For me, as long as it's kept intellectual, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? But when it start getting out of the realm of that, then you know what I mean? I ain't with that.
Black Son, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
I think what hurt me, like what really bothered me though, MD, was that show last week, man. Like after that show, I'm telling you, that show like took something out of me, man. To hear the way Blackson and Younger were going at one another, and I'm like, damn, man, that shit. And I went back and listened to it again, and it's like it took it, like honestly, because when I tell you, listen, I mean, because I don't revere people, you know what I'm saying? And from day one when I came up here, I told them how I respected them and how, and to see them going at it like that shit just did something to me, man. I'm telling you, I was just like, man, I said, all right, I'm done. I said from that day, I'm like, man, I'm done. I said, because I said, this is what I'm not going to be a part of. Like everybody that talk crap about the arena is right now. Based off of that. That's all I was saying. I'm like, we just proved everybody that was talking crap right. Like we build and then we let it get tore down off of some bullshit. And I said, I'm done. And like, because that bothered me, man. I'm telling you, ever since then, I never been the same. Like my whole vibe just been different just because the way I look at these two, like, and I don't even know them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, but I look at them and I listen to the knowledge and I hear stuff that they say, and I'll be like, damn, man, that's on some real, that's on some real knowledge stuff. If I stick around them long enough, I could, I'll be on that. MD, me and you bang all the time about the immigration stuff. You know how hard it was for me not to come up here when you said what you said about Big E? Like that was killing me, man. I'm like, I was
trying to smoke you out, man. I'm
wanting to type in the chat, and I'm like, I'm pulling the Yanga. I'm like, nope. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I said, man, how you going to disrespect a man that was born in the country like that? I'm just sitting there like, man, I was like, yeah, I was like, man, you crazy, man. But I was like, nope. And then when y'all start talking about Tyler Perry, and I was like, man, Tyler Perry, all he does is push the homo agenda, and he don't ever paint men in black men in a good light. I'm saying all that, but I'm like, nah, I ain't coming up there. They ain't gonna suck me in. That's what I'm saying, man. I could have just been like, you know what? F them and turn off the headset. And I'm in the middle of trying to do my debate, putting the finishing touches to it, trying to get my timing down.
Focus on that, man. Focus on that.
I'm trying to get my timing down. I'm worrying about coming on there banging with y'all. So like that's the thing, man. It's like twofold, man. I want to, like I say, I'm here. I'm always listening and stuff like that. But, and I meant it when I said when it comes to the drama stuff, I steer clear away from that because that's not what I came here for. But I have a brand that that I had to build myself, man, and it's just. But I still feel like I need to be building with y'all. So it's like, that's my conundrum.
Yeah, like I said, man, I get where you're coming from. At the end of the day, you got a young daughter, you know what I mean? Focus on that, no doubt. And shit, moderate your time, you know what I mean? Like I totally get where you're coming from. Like me and Blackson, we ain't got no excuse. We driving all day and we ain't got shit else to do, you know what I mean? But with you, it's a different story. So I get it, bro. I get it. That part you ain't even got to explain.
And I heard Godocracy say the craziest thing earlier. And again, I'm like, man, I think she was something to the effect about she don't believe. I don't want to missay it, so I know she'll correct me. But she was saying something about she don't believe that that they went to the moon or. So I know that was one of the conversations because it sounded like she falling into that Sanchez doctrine. But like all that stuff I'm listening to, and I'm like, man, I got to come up there and say something, man. But I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. And Ruthless is a good show. That is one of my favorite. But again,
I keep telling people, man, because
there's not one black guy. There's not one black guy on there that he paints in a good light.
Well, let me say this, Trevor. I think, I look at Ruthless because what it does as far as the dangers of religion. That's what, and I agree it don't paint black people in the good light, but when you dealing with religion, it don't paint no human being in a good light, man. When you let it consume you like that. In religion, it shows you, like I said, we've had the Jim Joneses, we've had the Charles Mansons, we've had numerous cults. David Koresh, and we had Malachi York. We had Malachi York, and that show Ruthless. It just takes it to the extreme, man. And I think there's elements of it. I think Tyler Perry did a good job on that particular series when it comes to damn fanaticism and religion. But that's just my take on it.
Blackstone, you were saying something before you got cut off. I don't know what it was you were trying to say.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, I don't know what part got cut up, but I was saying that, it wasn't a good look, EJ not coming up tonight because, like I said, I didn't listen to Nandy's show. I don't, I haven't been over there in 6 months, so I don't know what the hell she's saying. I know she talks about the show, but I don't care at this point. So, when EJ came on today, I said, okay, well then, you know what, you say what you're saying, and I get what Trevor's saying is like, he's lying this and that. Like, so well, let's give him a chance to stand before Trevor and let's hash it out, And so but he didn't show up. So that, like I said, that speaks volumes right there.
The trial of Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
You have to have a trial.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in standing before your accuser. I'm an avid believer in that, man. So yeah, he didn't stand. So there you go.
But to be fair to EJ, he did say in the chat that he was busy and that he could come on at this time, which was at the time was like 10 in the morning. He said
Oh,
at this
okay.
time tomorrow. So I guess on your truck show tomorrow that you're gonna have, he'll probably pop up at that time because he said he
Yeah,
has
but
to
then
train. He was
Trevor's gonna.
working out.
Yeah, but then Trevor's gonna be at work and his phone's not gonna be working, so we're gonna be in the same conundrum all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. I want. That's why I wanted You know, EJ's been on a late show before, so I was like, well, why not? I mean, it's a serious matter. You know, and I said, I don't know if EJ understood. I said, Trevor, because he said, well, call him right now. And I'm like, well, no, his phone's not working. I thought I made that clear that he doesn't come on because his phone at the job, you know, it's in and out. So why don't we just do a show later? But now you saying, oh, you know what? You know, okay, that's fine. I mean, it's on Trevor, man. If he wants to damn talk to this dude, or you just want to say fuck it, that's cool too, man. I get it.
I tell you like this, I ain't got nothing to say to EJ.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's man.
I mean,
okay.
And I don't have anything to say with EJ just because I thought he was going to be a real good, you know,
Right.
shot of energy. But
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. And when you said you were disappointed, I was disappointed too. I was like, well, damn, you know, he started talking about the Japanese female tag team. I said, okay, he knows his shit. But then, you know, when you told me you went on 90 shots, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. You know, but I didn't even listen to that shit. I don't go over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't entertain that shit at all. And it is what it is, you know. And that's why when people like what's his name? Kofi, no, not Kofi. Is it Kofi? Yeah. Kofi come over here. Oh, what about these people and that people? I'm like, yo, don't bring their names up because I keep telling him they've threatened me with litigation. So at this point, I got a lawyer and we ready to litigate. So that's it. I ain't got no more words about it. I take that shit very serious. So, but
all that type of stuff, man. I'm like, man.
no, I get it. I just certain things I take very seriously. When a person talking about suing you, I take that very seriously. So yeah, I don't make light of it. I mean, Kofi, I'm sure, or not. Yeah, I guess he's making light of it. I don't, and I'm not going to. So yeah, it is what it is. But I get it, bro. I get it, man. Like like everybody saying, man, your daughter first, man. You know, take care of your daughter, man, and yeah, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even worry about all this YouTube stuff, man. If it's causing you stress, man, then yeah, I wouldn't even worry about it.
And like I say, I gotta start building my own brand too. So, I mean, like I said, I'm always be around, and I'm gonna stick to the Wrestling Wednesday shows just because it's fun. I mean, that's
absolutely.
Like we got something going on, and that's what frustrates me so much for EJ because he said a good point. He was like, "Man, you don't hear black men talking about this type of stuff," so that's why it bothers me. But I'm just y'all hear from me first. Like I say, I am going to be actively trying to build my own channel, doing streams from over there too. Like I see Yanga doing streams on his channel. Yanga haven't done a stream in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like we got these other channels and we just been letting them lie dormant because we be over here rocking all the time. And I'm just like, damn, but like I say, Blackson, you gave me a voice. Besides the one time I got on SVDL, you was the first stream I ever got on that actually let me rock out on the stream. So, it's like that's why I feel like a sense of loyalty to you. Where I'm like, damn, man, it ain't.
Just hold it down for Wrestling Wednesdays, man. I'm glad you sticking with. Hey, just hold it down for Wrestling Wednesdays, man. And that, like I said, I hate when people attack Wrestling Wednesdays when we do so many other shows that they can attack. And so many ideologies. I'm like, y'all coming after Wrestling Wednesday? Come on, man. Come on now. That is said to me too, because I'm like, Wrestling Wednesday ain't got nothing to do with all this other stuff. It's like a time, and me and Yanga talked about it. He said, man, it's a time where we can come and just kind of relax and get away from everything on YouTube. And then you had these people attacking the arm wrestling. I'm like, man, they're just fucking weak to me. That's just fucking just pathetic, you know. That they would go after Wrestle Wednesdays after all of the stuff that we got throughout the week that they can attack, you know. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
And you got WrestleMania coming up, and I can't leave y'all to Venkat alone disparaging the good name of the WWE. I mean, they're gonna need somebody to defend them because I know he ain't gonna do it. So it's like I can't have my company be disparaged.
Hey, Trevor, we were supposed to have that soapbox, that 2-minute soapbox about Meltzer.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week because, like I say, man, my mind's so cluttered right now with all this. You know, when Blackson knows because he'd done about 20 of them, probably more. But so the structure of the debate is 5-minute opening, 10-minute premise, 10-minute rebuttal, 10-minute rapid fire, and 5-minute close. So you're like, dang, that sounds like a lot of time. But I only like all the info I got. I'm like, damn, how am I gonna fit all this in? So that's what I'm sitting here wrapping my mind around is getting all these slides together. That's what. So that's the thing too, because when you start digging in these people's careers, you're like, whoa, like they did a lot, man. I don't want to leave that out. I want to put that in.
But did you cut anything away? Because you're gonna have to cut some stuff away.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the final draft tomorrow, and I'm gonna do the run through.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing. So I've been doing since I got home. I've been sitting here
now
working on this.
The trickiest part, and this is real tricky, man, because I explained the same thing to Yanga. You're timing yourself 10 minutes will end up being 7 minutes on the actual debate. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but yeah, you somehow that 3 minutes go like it disappears, and you're like, damn, I thought I had more time. Yeah, and I've done plenty of debates, and it's that way every single time. And it seemed like what's really scary, Trevor, is that the time gets shorter and shorter. I swear the shit it gets shorter and shorter, man. So it's like it's scary, man. But the time that you time yourself is not the same time as the actual debate. So
you heard we got judges coming back, right?
I heard I just heard that Angel's back, and that's it. I didn't hear about anything about no judges.
Yeah, we should have judges Saturday.
They shouldn't have a debate without judges. It's just ridiculous.
Nah, we're gonna have a judge. We're gonna have a judge Saturday.
So how many judges do they have?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll Angel wants to meet with us and we'll discuss that. But
that's right. We're having a meeting. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, so they said we're gonna have the judges. So that's good. And yeah, so because with Angel back, we're gonna get a little more structure because at least she could pick up where Solar, can't do because of time constraints right now.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I'm about to get out of here, man. Just like I say, man, EJ, I know you listening, or you probably listen tomorrow. It's all good, bro. I'll chalk it up to a misunderstanding. It's all good, but I don't need to deal with you. That's all I say. I'll respect you from a distance. It's all good. I'll be 43 on Tuesday. I don't need any extra food.
Yeah, extra stuff. Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad that you still gave time to Wrestling Wednesdays, man. Like I said, Wrestling Wednesdays is, man, I love it, bro. Like I said, it's my relaxed time. You know what I'm saying? During YouTube, I don't know if that sounds weird, man, but yeah, I love just kicking back and just like listening to you guys talk about it and just, man, I kick my feet up, man. You know what I'm saying? And then jump in every now and then when I hear something. I'm like, oh shoot, but yeah, man. But no, all the other stuff, I get it, man. I get it, bro. I get it. Trust me. I get it. And that's why, I don't, blame you on a lot of stuff, man, because, yeah, it can be. And then you're trying to study for a damn debate on top of that. Yeah, that shit is stressful, brother. It's stressful.
All right, fellas, what, MD dropped off? Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a bad area. He's driving in the mountains. So, yeah, he's in and out.
Yeah, man, I checked out, I checked out his series over the weekend and checked out, his call out the Angel snubbed up yesterday. That was funny. Yeah, I tell you, man, I support the arena, man.
Yeah, and we're not trying to have no drama with Angel. We're just trying to get an understanding. But Angel, that's a whole nother situation. I'm not gonna really get into it now, but I'm hoping if Angel's listening, man, we can have a sit down. And yeah, I mean, I'm still extend that to Angel, but I don't know. Man. Sometimes we wish things to go one way and they don't go that way. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. I gotta put this low in the bed. You going to bed? Yes.
8, 9, 10.
All right, fellas.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Trevor.
All right, no problem.
All right, so we're about to close out the show. Before we go, I'd like to thank Blackson, of course. Thanks for the platform. Thanks for the support. Got to thank the great MD. He's doing his thing in the mountains. I still am gonna stick my hand out to EJ and give him an invitation again on next week's Wrestling Wednesday. Hopefully we can have that because why not? Shout out to Gynocracy, of course. Shout out to Juju. Shout out to Yanga and everyone else in the arena. Before we leave, I'm going to go ahead and play that promo because, yes, we do have a debate this Saturday. It's going to be Rio and Trevor. This is Trevor's first debate, so he'll be debuting in the league. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he responds. And the topic is going to be Jay-Z versus Master P. Who had the bigger impact on hip-hop culture? So it's a great topic. It's a topic I'm looking forward to personally to see these guys go out. And I know when I watch it that I'm going to get a payoff for watching it because there's going to be a actual winner being voted. So that is something you cannot get enough of. The finale, the actual decision being made at the end, have a recognized winner. So I can't wait for that debate. That alone drives it up to the moon for me. So I'm looking forward to it. Saturday, March 4th, Trevor versus Yanga, Master P, Jay-Z. Who has the bigger impact? For Trevor, for MD, for Black Sun, I'm Venkat. Have a great night. Thanks for watching us on the arena. We'll see you next week.
Fuck JC. What's up, niggas? Hey, yo, I know you ain't talking about me, dog. You? What? Fuck JC. You been on my dick, nigga. You love my style, nigga. Fuck JC. Fuck with your soul like ether. Teach you the king, you know you. Godson across the belly. I prove you lost already. Brace yourself for the main event. Y'all impatiently waiting. It's like an AIDS test. What's the results? Not positive. Who's the best? Pac, Nas, and Big. Ain't no best. East, west, north, south, floor style greetings. I embrace y'all with napalm. Blows up. No guts. Left chest, face gone. Two, 3, 4. Season 5.
Oh yeah, black sun in the hizzle, all the shizzle bizzle.